Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse. 104 is the episode. I am Peter. Joining me as always is Matt.
Hey, what's up?
And Connor's here as well.
Well, it was a little less enthusiastic than last week.
Civil. See, I'm going for the passive. Well, not even quite passive aggressive. Just a very civil British. You're less important, but I'm going through the motion of introducing you politely anyway.
Yeah. I suppose that's as British as it gets.
I shall stand here and complain about said thing, but I will not do anything about said thing. So this is a DC Comics show, and we're going to be talking about a bunch of DC books this week. On this week's show, we will be talking about Justice League No Justice number 2. We'll be talking about Batman 47, the final of the gift. We'll be talking about Superman Special number 1, the end of the Tomasi Gleason Superman run. We'll be talking about Green Lanterns 47, Batwoman 15, Aquaman 36, Brave and the Bold, Batman Wonder Woman number 4, New Challengers number 1 is the latest New Age of DC Heroes book, and then of course Connor's Corner, which we'll explain in a bit more detail later. He's going to be talking about Red Hood and the Outlaws number 19. So that is everything coming up on this week's show, along with a bit of news. So be excited.
And
just for forewarning, my wife's out of town this weekend, so I have to have the door open for the dogs to come and go, so I can make sure they're not creating chaos, as they like to do. So, yeah. So if you hear a rumbling of thunder, it's the big one.
Yeah, cats and dogs running wild. Although all 3 of my cats have just went down for a nap, so I think we'll be good on my end.
That's good. Yeah, my old boy likes to get up, get down, get up, get down. He's restless, but he's 14, so what do you want?
Yeah. So, we're talking about DC Comics and stuff, and anything else that comes up. There's one bit of Marvel news I actually want to mention at the end of the news. Don't want to talk about it, I just want to mention it.
This is interesting. I have no idea what that might be.
If you missed this yesterday, then I'll be curious to your reaction over it.
Maybe. I haven't been in the loop the last couple of days.
But we'll see how it goes. So episode 104. I'm trying to keep track of the numbers a little bit better because I've tried to start saying them at the start of each episode.
You're just guessing at the end. You're like, I think it's this one.
No, this is 104. This is definitely 104. I double, triple check.
I would love if it's not.
It's 104. And if it isn't,
last week was 104.
Last week was 103. Matt, shut up. I know.
So this is our full 2-year anniversary.
Oh, that's right, yeah, 52 times 2, you're right.
Yeah.
We haven't missed a week, so yeah, it's exactly 2 years now, since the start of the show. Well, since episode 1, we did episode 0 before that, but...
let's say 2 years since the start of Rebirth.
That's about right. Because I remember at work... Yeah, well, because I remember when Rebirth came out, I was super busy at work, and I had downloaded Rebirth onto my phone, and that's how I read it first, in between things. Not the best way to do it, but
you just had to get it into you.
Oh, I had to.
Also, it just makes sense because that was the last week of May. The Rebirth one shot came out, and we're a week away from that. That just makes sense. Oh. Just the way the Wednesdays have worked out in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are. So it's been 2 years, and we're shaking things up. We're middle of No Justice, which is the first bit we're going to talk about. But we're not talking about that yet. We've got news to talk about first. Lots of little things this week. Some more notable than others. But first up, we did get the... I was expecting a lot more news this week, if I'm honest. Because the solicits are coming early next week, I was expecting a few big things that were going to be new in August, based on just rumblings we've heard, based on other things that are ending in July. But... actually, not really. There's not really been that much big stuff. So anything big that's coming, unless they're going to announce it on the day of the solicits, which they sometimes do.
It happens from time to time.
Yeah. So we'll see next week if they announce any big stuff for August.
That said, some of the news items that we've got disprove some of the rumblings, at least for August.
Oh, sure. Well, first up, the one thing we did get like a proper announcement for August is the crossover between Aquaman and Suicide Squad. Just one issue each, just a 2-issue, 2-parter, both in August. And it's going to be called...
You know how many issues of Suicide Squad I have now?
Too many?
3.
I have 2, so when this comes out, I will have 3. So I have the first issue, the Rebirth.
That's pretty
And I was
close.
like, no, I'm not reading this. And then when they did the Gotham Resistance, because of course you can't miss that, I have that one. Although that has Sejic art, so I'm not complaining too much about that one. But and now this one.
Yeah, I'll admit, as someone who doesn't read Suicide Squad, it's annoying that I have to get an issue of Suicide Squad. But sometimes these things can be a lot more sprawling. So you know what, one issue for 1 month isn't the.
It's not. I think it's interesting that these are two series that, based on rumblings we'd heard, were supposed to be getting new teams in August.
Yeah, it could just be that the rumblings were wrong about when.
It could be. It could be that they were maybe things they needed to be delayed. So this is almost a fill-in. Just okay, quick, slap something together for the 2 books for an issue. Yeah,
it's called Sink Atlantis. 2 issues. It's co-written. Each issue is co-written by the writers of both books. So you get Rob Williams and Dan Abnett co-writing it, and the plot revolves around Task Force X being sent on a mission to remove Atlantis as a world power. And while they're there, excavate something that their boss Amanda Waller wants. I don't know. Let's just stop listening to Waller. She screws things up a lot. More than that, and No Justice this week.
Yeah, why does she still have a job?
She's got dirt on everyone. That's why.
Yeah, no one's opposing her.
That must be it.
It's that's like what you expect from Waller, though, right? She's just got something on everyone.
She's such a monumental screw up. More on that later. No, it sounds okay. It sounds like a fun little, 1 month 2-parter.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Yeah, could be fun. Might not be.
We'll see. It's not that exciting to talk about, but it could be fun.
Yeah. It's not huge news, but it's fine. It's there. Next up, so here's something that came out of almost nowhere. Tim Seeley was obviously leaving Green Lantern soon because Dan Jurgens is taking over in August. However, he's actually leaving it a little bit earlier than we were expecting. Basically, this week's issue is actually his final issue, the one we're talking about later. The next 2 issues, which were supposed to be him, are now going to be Aaron Gillespie, who actually is the co-writer on New Challengers that we'll get to later. But it seems that they're still doing the same plot that was planned.
The solicit hasn't changed, other than just who's writing it.
So I wonder if it's still Seeley's
scripting work, essentially, or
plotting, and Gillespie's just coming in and scripting it. I could see that being the case. Issue 50 is when Dan Jurgens takes over, which is not actually August, it's July, but same difference.
This is pretty uncommon these days to have this happen.
Yeah, it makes me wonder that Seeley's they're wanting Seeley to get started on something else really quickly, so they're shifting him off elsewhere.
Be. Yeah, maybe.
He's doing something important elsewhere, so.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoyed his Green Lanterns, I kind of wish they hadn't pulled him from Nightwing. Just keep that going.
I don't know I think he was pulled away. He just kind of ended his run, ended his story.
Yeah, but it still felt like he wrapped up quick. So it felt like they were shuffling things around.
I'm okay with it now. Percy's on board Nightwing. At least I've got something that I can rely on there.
Yeah.
I assume.
I mean, Percy's only had 1 issue, but I loved that 1 issue, so I'm pretty happy with Nightwing right now.
Yeah. Again, this is weird because I've been enjoying his Green Lanterns, not as much as for Peter for sure. I know Peter's been enjoying it probably the most out of us.
Yeah, I've been digging his Green Lanterns a lot.
But I think this is weird. I would have liked to have seen him get a proper ending because it feels just like. He's not, most people, especially when they have a run of, it's not like they at least do an epilogue at the end of, the last issue is a bit of a celebration. It's kind of just, this is where the arc ends. Oh, someone else is in now. It's kind of a bit jarring.
I don't think it's that jarring, but I'll talk about that more when we talk about the issue.
Yeah.
Because it's more relevant to what's in the issue as opposed to anything else. But it's kind of weird, but it's only 2 issues, and they're still doing the story that was there, so it's not like, it's strange, but it just makes me wonder what they've got Seeley doing instead.
No, that's fair.
So, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, Jurgens, either way, Jurgens is starting with issue 50, and we'll see what he's got planned.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Next up, speaking of things changing slightly in terms of creatively, so we knew that Brian Hill and Miguel Bedoncha were going to be starting their Outsider setup arc, even though they're not confirming that's what it is yet. They're going to start with that with 982, because obviously 981 is Tynion's last issue in Detective. 982, obviously the next one was going to be the start of that. However, they're delaying the start of that arc by 1 issue. It seems that the second issue in June is still solicited with them on board, so that'll be the start of that arc. There's a 1 issue fill-in now at 982 with Michael Morecci and Sebastian Fumara.
He tweeted about it saying, it's just a 1 issue delay. They need an extra couple of weeks to get ahead. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
that's what I figured.
Everything is fine. Chill out.
Yes, stop
Yeah.
using it as clickbait. Certain people who he may have called out by name.
I never saw any clickbait for this. I was wondering why you two were going on a little rant
no.
there.
He'll called out Rich by name of the site that we had a rant about last week for using it as clickbait.
Oh, I did see that actually. I saw that tweet that you mentioned.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, no, I did see that. Yeah. I mean, I figured as soon as I heard this, I was like, oh, so they're just pushing it back by one issue. That's just a time thing.
One issue is nothing, especially on a double shipping schedule.
Yeah, so that's nothing. So it just means it's starting later, and we get a one issue. I imagine this might be like the you know how we had those Nightwing fill-ins where the
Just
issues
from the archive.
Yeah, they've been written a while ago, and they've just been kind of sitting around just for whenever they need a fill-in to make
Almost
up an
certainly,
issue.
Yeah.
So that's fine. We'll see how that goes. It'll be weird having like a fill-in issue that's not, because obviously everything's been about the Bat family and Detective, and then obviously this is going to switch to, it's still a family because it's like setting up the outsiders. It's going to be weird having this one issue story, which is probably going to be just more Batman centric.
Probably. I mean, they didn't tell us anything about what this other story is, did they?
No, there was a solicit. I didn't take it down, but there was a new solicit for it.
Oh,
yeah, well, usually when they do quick fill-ins like this, it's something they have locked down, kind of like what showed up in Superman this week. These little smaller stories. So,
yeah.
But anyway, I glanced at it. I didn't think it was interesting enough to actually talk about what it was, because it's just
fair
a
enough.
story.
I was just seeing if it was just saying that it's going to be a Batman story, if they're picking something else.
But hey, so next up we have... Now, this isn't really news, and I don't know why everyone's treating it like it is, because I feel like this was really obvious from before. But I'm going to mention it just so that everyone is on the same page. So, remember how Doomsday Clock 5 and 6 both get pushed back a month each, and then later the same day, it's like, oh no, don't worry guys, DC, the website, the schedule just made a mistake. It's not. It's just... the May issues went back a week, but it's fine. Everything's fine. I assumed that then... I think quite rightly that meant that the July issue going to August was also a mistake because it happened at the same time. But regardless, news this week is them just confirming, no, the issue 6 is still coming in July 18th. It's not been pushed back to August. Everyone's kind of treating it like it's been pushed back or moved back to its original date. I don't think it ever really was moved. I think it was just that same mistake that's just now being corrected.
That's fair. I think this is just the clarification, and they're just making sure everyone knows.
Yeah, that's fine. It's because I saw a lot of people reacting to this, like, oh, this book keeps going back and forth with the schedule, and I'm like, nah, there was a mistake. It was kind of obviously a mistake in the first place. So, here it is.
So it's still going to have its break month, right?
Yeah, it's still once every other month, yeah.
Yeah, so that's fine.
So we get it in we're getting one in May, right?
Yeah, we're getting one in 2 weeks.
Good. That's fine.
So, what were you doing that week, Connor? Why are you missing the show?
I don't know. I'm missing a week in June, I think, maybe. I don't know.
I think you are, yeah.
I think I am, so hopefully it's not that one. And I think I'm missing a week in July. I think it's the week before in July I'm missing, though, so I'm okay.
Oh, hopefully something happens to the schedule. Like, they push it forward a week.
Oh, shit. No. See, that is the week of my mother's birthday. And depending on if she can get off work or not, it may be the Saturday that she decides to have to visit.
Oh, that would be a shame if Connor had to celebrate his mother's birthday when we were talking about Doomsday Clock issue 6, wouldn't it, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
That would not leave me impressed.
Matt is so not chatty today. What's up, Matt? You okay? You feeling?
No, yeah, I'm fine.
Feeling good. I'm making fun of Connor.
I don't care about this back and forth Doomsday Clock stuff. I'll get the book when I get the book. It's fine. Like, none of this news matters to me right now.
Go on, make fun of Connor a little bit. Come on.
That's fine.
Cheer you up.
I don't want to set up him missing a Doomsday Clock and then him not. Like,
I'm actually quite paranoid now.
It's funny because if you miss that, then you'll have missed 3 because you've missed 2 already. So you'll have missed 3 out of 6 if you miss one more.
Yeah.
Anyway, so next up, you'll like this, Matt. Someone was asking Tom King on Twitter about Booster Gold, and he responded, because they were asking, is there going to be more Booster Gold anytime soon? Is this the last we've seen of him for a while? And Tom said, yes, this is the beginning of a huge Booster story that puts him at the centre of the DCU. More announcements coming.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the events in this issue mean that he goes to that I don't know if it was a mini or that series.
Oh, the
King
Tom
of
King.
Spotting.
The
Yeah, about
Sanctuary?
PTSD.
Sanctuary, yeah, that was it.
Sanctuary. Yeah. So.
No, it could be that. That would make some sense. But center of the DCU, huge story sounds a bit bigger than that to me.
I'm intrigued to see as to when, because I mean, we could hear something on Monday with the solicits, or it could be that it's not quite that soon.
Yeah, it could be more of a full-on winter thing, so it won't be starting until November, December, or whatever.
Right.
But hey, I thought it was interesting, worth mentioning that there's a big booster-centric story coming in some capacity. Also worth mentioning, this was a leak. This should be in the solicits next week, but this was actually a leak by accident. Michael Schelling, who works for PR at DC, in responding to a question about Tomasi writing the new Superman animated movie, just happened to mention, he's doing a 12-issue maxi series called The Adventures of Super Son starting in August. Just casually, it's like, oops.
No, that's okay.
Don't think I was meant to say that. Oh well. So that's cool. I think part of me wonders why not just continue the current series for another 12 issues, but
I think it's the fact that they wanted the break in DC. The big two in general don't do the breaks if they can help it.
Yeah.
Whereas like especially Image, it's the kind of the format right now for Image books is they'll do an arc, take 3 months off, and then come back and do another arc, right?
Yeah, the cynical part of me might suggest they just wanted to boost the numbers for another issue 1. That said, the more fair part of me would suggest that it's more to do with the fact that because Bendis is coming in and taking over Superman books, that this feels a bit more separate than Super Sons currently does to the Superman book, and this is just a way to sort of make it feel detached from that.
And I'm just thinking, at least there's 6-7 months between issues. It's not so if it had been
what?
No.
When was the last?
Like 2.
There's like another issue of Super Sons still to happen.
Is there still more to happen?
This week.
Next week.
Yeah, coming up.
Sorry, I thought I finished like a month or 2 ago.
So it's 2 months.
Fair enough. That's my bad.
In fact, there's 1 month off. No, 2 months off. June, July. Right.
Yeah. Which makes sense with the Bendis stuff again. Like that's immediate. What I thought was Bendis kind of wants to have a fresh start without having to worry about things. So you give it a little space, and then we can work it in later.
Yeah. More Tomasi Super Sons is always good news, though. So. Can't fault that. Just quickly, I think it's worth mentioning that Alex Ross is doing covers for DC again. He did a Plastic Man variant for issue 3 of that series.
It's kind of horrifying in the best way.
Oh yeah, it's just glorious. I love it. But he's been doing so many Marvel covers, and it's for whatever reason it's been a long time since he's done actually DC work. So it's nice to see him back in the DC team doing some covers. I'm sure he's still doing stuff for Marvel. I don't think it's any sort of exclusivity or anything like that. But it's just nice to see that he'll be doing these occasionally. It's just nice, so that's cool. Worth mentioning quickly as well that we got the artists for all the Sandman Universe books that are coming out starting in August. The Dreaming, which is written by Cy Spurrier, is going to have Matt's favourite, Bilquis Evely, is going to be doing the art.
I know. Connor showed me something unrelated, and it might make me pick up an issue of Harley.
Yeah, she's doing a variant for 44, which I think is Humphreys has taken over for that.
I'll probably try Humphreys' run when it starts as well.
But it's a gorgeous cover, isn't it?
It is.
And then House of Whispers, which is Nilo Hopkinson writing, we have Domo Stanton on the art for that. That's a graduate of the DC Talent Workshop. And then Lucifer, which is written by Dan Waters, is going to have brothers Max and Sebastian Fiamura on that. And then Book of Magic, written by Kat Howard, is going to have art by Tom Fowler, who's apparently done the Rick and Morty comic. Is the credit to
an interesting jump, isn't it?
That's an interesting jump. But that Rick and Morty comic does really well at a lot of shops. So.
Oh yeah, no, I don't mean in terms of sales. I just mean style.
That's because Rick and Morty sells. So.
It really does. Like it's funny how between season 2 and 3, Rick and Morty became this huge nerd thing that is loved by so many.
It was properly underground for the first couple of years, and then it just exploded.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
I have to hear one more thing about it from the middle schoolers at work. I'm going to lose it.
Rub-a-dub-dub, Matt. Rub-a-dub-dub.
I don't care that he was a pickle. I don't need you yelling. That was last year. Get over it.
Well, they renewed it for 70 episodes, Matt. So don't get.
And that's right. I have zero problems with it. I hear it's a very well done show, and that's great. But it's at the point of Doctor Who where the fans have kind of killed my interest in ever watching it, just because.
Okay.
It has an awful fan base. I said this recently.
Yeah. So and if you like Doctor Who, that's fine. Like, I'm sure you're a fine person, but the people that were all about it
Oh yeah, it's always worth mentioning when you critique a fan base. You're not saying everyone who likes said thing is part of that.
Yeah.
That
I've
toxic
really
part
good friends
of
that are Whovians, and
I love
but you don't talk about it like it's the next greatest thing every time a new one comes on.
Matt, you're describing how I feel about Star Wars.
I guess. I mean, but then again, Star Wars fans also annoy me. So I guess I'm just really.
I think what we learn here is people annoy you.
Well, that's a given. It was funny last night. I went to go watch the Vegas Golden Knights in the playoffs, but tickets are expensive. But you can go outside the arena and watch it, and it was great. It was good to be part of a community. And I went over to my mother-in-law's house after, and she was like, "Oh, really? Wasn't all that bad with all the people? You hate people." And I was like, "Yeah, no, it was fine. Like, we scored a goal, and the crowd went nuts. The other team scored a goal, the crowd booed." She goes, "Wow, it must have not been bad if you had a good time." So that's, I guess, just my default setting.
Well, I think what you're saying here is you're fine when you're on the inside. When you're one of them.
No, I don't think that's it. I think what he's saying here is that when you're part of a crowd that is just like a swarm of people, it's fine because you're all just cheering and booing. Yeah. But when you have to converse with people in a one-to-one or small intimate setting, and you actually have to hear their opinions on things, then it goes downhill.
Like, I immediately got salty when the other team scored, and the group of Winnipeg fans I happen to be standing in front of start jawing like they scored the goal, not the team in the building. So of course I got salty and had to say something, So, but yeah, no, I get it though. It's the fan base. There's even DC fans that kind of drive me nuts. So, and those are my people. Like, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just becoming more misanthropic.
Just a grumpy old man, Matt. That's all it is. That's all it is. Alright, so that's actually the DC news. I just want to... You don't have to comment on it. I just want to mention that Marvel announced an event for later in the year called Spider-Geddon. Can I just let that sit there? I just want to let that sit there.
That's not a real name. That's what they're going with.
I thought Edge of Venomverse was bad, but Spider-Geddon's come along and topped it.
Well, for the people that brought you the Spider-Verse and the Venomverse, now it's the Spider-Geddon. And what was your other take, Pete, with Avengers something?
Avengement Day. And then after that we'll get Defend Destruction or something, I don't know. Defend or Destruction. That
one got away from you a bit, didn't it?
Sideways.
any human... I don't know, I can't think of one for any human.
Well, they already had Inhumanity, so there's that one.
I have to laugh though because I remember. No, admittedly, we've got a lot of DC kind of like crossovers and event things coming up, and we're sort of working through just now. But I have to laugh though because it's actually not been that long since Marvel said, "Hey, no events for 18 months," and now for the rest of this year, they're teasing the countdowns, counting down to some sort of Infinity thing. There's Spider-Geddon, and there's Death of Inhumans. There's Extermination, which is an X-Men thing that's going to...
We've got the Return of Wolverine going on.
Oh yeah, that's got like 4 minis.
Well, there's these big stories that, while not technically events, they seem like an event. They're just not calling it an event.
Yeah. And let's not remember, they also said only one Avengers book, and then announced another Avengers book this week.
Yeah, but I feel like that one, you're talking about West Coast, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's more of like, Superior Foes.
Oh, to be fair, like, I have no problem with the book they actually announced. It's just funny because they put their foot down and said, no, there'll only be one ongoing Avengers book. And then when this was announced, people said, oh, it's only a mini. And then Marvel later on was like, no, it's not a mini, it's an ongoing. Like, they clarified it. And it's like, okay, so there's 2 ongoing Avengers books.
Do you know what I love there, though? Is when Marvel announce a book of this sort of level, people go, well, it's only going to get 6 or 12 issues anyways. It's basically a mini.
Yeah.
They can call it ongoing all they want, but...
That's where I'm comfortable with picking up Avengers, because Aaron's writing it, because Aaron doesn't... I mean, outside of Thor, which I don't feel was him, he writes for the long haul, like John's would. You know, like each arc builds on the next one. So I feel okay with getting Avengers. I know it's not going to change in 6 issues.
Okay, it's Avengers. Like I think Avengers, Spider-Man, and like a few other books are the ones that you're safe having for a while.
Yeah.
Like, Dan Slott was on Spider-Man for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is stupidly long.
That reign is coming to an end, however. It's finally ending.
So I'm going through John's Wally run, and I haven't read it in years. I didn't realize that initial one was only 5 years. It felt like, I don't know, maybe we're spoiled because of double shipping now, and like King's almost at that number, and it's only been 2 years.
I mean,
but
yeah, I mean it's like 5 of those thick trades. You know, it's, how many issues is it? It's about what, 30 something.
He went from 2000 to about 2005, so it was about 64, 65 issues when you count like specials and whatnot. Right. I'm halfway through the Cicada story right now, and man, that was good.
I do think it's funny how 60 odd issues is a healthy run, right? That's what we would consider that. That's a really good run. Whereas like I say, we're closing on 50 already. With these,
for a couple of them,
and you look at John's on Green Lantern. What did he get? Like 85 when all said and done.
If you include Blackest Night and like other related things, I think it is about that.
Which I think was Venditti did almost the same then, like because he did it about 80 odd, I think.
Yeah, so I'm going through and looking at these run numbers and whatnot, and I'm just like, wow, it's so weird. Like that was a legendary long run, and now with double shipping, it's like, oh well, that's just
It's funny because I've been reading through Aaron's Thor at the moment, and it got to I think it was the first issue of Unworthy Thor that he goes, all right, that was it. That was my 50th issue of Thor, and and then it lists all the titles it's spread over. It's like God of Thunder, Thor, the
Mighty
Thors, Mighty Thor. It's over like 5 or 6
We're going
titles.
back to Thor now with the new number one.
It's over like 5 or 6 different titles to get to 50 issues. I'm like, that's insane.
I know.
What's going on?
Well, once those get all collected, it'll be easier because they'll all be in order, and you won't have to worry about the subtitle.
Yeah, you're looking forward to those.
Aaron's store.
The oversized hardcovers of the omnibus that'll just put it all neatly in order for you.
That'll be nice.
And you don't have to worry about the number. When Mighty Thor got to 700, and they just renumbered it.
I've got that to worry about. Right now, I was like, okay, trying to figure out, when do I jump into an Unworthy Thor? I had to really Google it to find a firm answer.
As a Thor guy, I got to know, what was your favorite story arc so far?
I mean, I think it's the first one, right?
Yeah, the first 11 issue one. I'd agree with that. I've not got to.
God Butcher.
Right, but I will say that I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Secret Origin of Mjolnir might be the best issue of the run, and I don't know. I remember when that was announced as a thing, and I was like, "Who's asking for that? Who wants the Secret Origin of the Hammer?"
Jason Aaron.
Oh god damn it! It's so good.
I have a story that meshes Norse mythology with cosmic stuff, and it's gonna be awesome.
And it's all this gorgeous, like almost painted stuff going on. I'm like, oh man, that was a hell of an issue, and I didn't. I thought it was a joke at first when that was announced, but fair play to that.
So you're coming up on the end soon. Like you're almost.
I just finished Unworthy Thor. I'm on about Mighty Thor 13 or 15, around there. 15, I want to say.
So have you started the Shi'ar stuff?
I think that's what I got next.
Okay, that's a fun time.
Yeah, I haven't read any Thor
yet.
We're
a DC podcast.
Yeah. Just a small tweet I saw earlier in the week was Liam Sharp talking about, his next project he's already started, like because he was tweeting saying, "Oh, I finished Brave and the Bold, so wrapped on that." And someone asked him, "It's like, oh, so moving on to your next thing soon?" Then he's like, "Oh, I'm already well underway on that. It's it's going, so we can expect it reasonably soon."
Fingers crossed for Liam Sharp Viking Prince mini.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, well, it's not for you, Pete. It's for me and Connor. All right.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good.
He sells his boat into scraps and rumbles. It'll be great.
Not to keep it in Marvel too long, I actually did read 2 Marvel books this week.
Yeah, 2.
I know.
Because I read Avengers number 2 as well.
I read Avengers number 2.
I feel like we're vegans going on about, it's like, I had a slice of pizza the other day, and it had grilled cheese on it. Like we're not fully going into the meat, but we're like, I think we're gonna go with dairy a little, you know.
Yeah, no, I read Avengers #2 and I read X-Men Red #4, which is great.
Is that Tom Taylor's one?
That's Tom Taylor's book. That's really good.
That's 4 out of 6, right?
No, it's an ongoing. Hey, no, to be fair, All New Wolverine hit 35 issues, so I'm,
Yeah, that's good. But that's why I didn't read Red, because they're relaunching X-Men soon. So
we don't know what they're doing with it yet, but yeah. I can see it getting a name change like Aaron Starr, but it'll still just be.
I remember, there was a whole thing when they launched Blue and Gold. They were like, yeah, excellent. And then like 3 issues in, they were like, by the way, we're doing. I think that was when they announced Legacy, or whatever it was. There's a big thing coming at the end of the year. So I was like, so what's the point in getting invested in it? Then of course Legacy ended up being just a nothing, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it didn't affect it in any way. No, Red's really good though, and Gabby's in it, which is the best thing ever.
I haven't read it yet, but I did get Domino issue 2 because I'm a sucker for Gelsamon.
I might try Domino. I might go back and try Domino.
It's pretty fun.
For the record,
I read a quarter of Avengers 1. So,
well, for the record, I did like Avengers 2 more than I liked issue 1.
I didn't. I thought 1 was a tighter issue. I think 2. Some of the other elements weren't working as well.
I just had more fun with 2 because I felt the caveman shit I don't give a crap about.
See, that was some of the most exciting stuff for me.
Do you care about?
I don't give a shit about the caveman stuff at all.
That said, when it flashes to the future and it's Thor and Rogers and Stark, and they're at the thing and they're at the bar, and Tony orders a Shirley Temple, I died because.
Of course.
It's a drinking problem. I like when they keep that in canon.
What's funny though is that issue 2, like a lot of people hate issue 2, but the reasons why they hate it don't affect me because I've not been reading a lot of the Marvel books that are why people hate them.
I disagree with one of the issues, especially the more I think about it.
One of the problems. Don't say issues when we're not referring to what it is.
All right.
Problems.
Yes.
One of the problems I disagree with just because of the more I think about the way it's actually framed in the issue. That's about who's sort of behind what's going on. Then the other one is that She-Hulk, apparently her characterization doesn't quite match up with what she's been in her own book for a while. I can't speak to that, and I don't really care. But I did think that stuff was a bit weaker in general. That and the Ghost Rider stuff in issue 2 felt a bit just kind of shoehorned in. Well,
it's Ghost Rider, so what are you gonna do?
It was fine. Like, it wasn't my favorite part of this show, but it was fine.
I'll let you know when you guys get there, because
Yeah, so that was your 5 minutes of casual Marvel talk before we go knees deep in DC.
Just before we go on, did we all read Venom? Because I know I did.
I read issue 1 of Venom because of the buzz, and it was everyone loves it.
Venom I don't get like it. Some people treat like gum on their shoe. I would rather not. So
it was I thought it was pretty good. It was a very well written issue.
The art's nice. I don't care about the concept of it. I don't care about all this like retcon backstory to the Venom.
It opens in a flashback to Viking times.
That's cool and all, but it's still Venom. So like I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Like anytime I start caring about Venom, like in Bendis's Guardians of the Galaxy run, they just wipe that all out anyways. So it's like, well, this is the thing of Venom that I like. You're doing the thing that I don't like, I'm going to stay away.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's loving Venom, it wasn't for me.
Fair enough.
Well, a badly written book, but it means I'm not getting it. It's fine. But hey, alright, so that's your Marvel chunk of time, for anyone who's interested. So we will go on to our actual DC books now, I think. Well, let's start then with the main event of the week. The main event all month, basically. Although, it's going to fight. Week 5 is going to be weird, because we're going to have a No Justice finale, the start of Man of Steel, and an issue of Doomsday Clock. I don't know what's going to headline that week. I'm flustered even thinking about it. But
Doomsday Clock always. It's John's.
I can live with that.
I put my money with that.
Yeah, I can live with that. That's fine. But yeah, so we're going to have a Justice League No Justice #2. Scott Snyder, James Tynion the 4th, Joshua Williamson writing, and then Francis Manapul with assistance by Marcus Toe on the art. Did you think Francis Manapul did all the art in all 4 issues? Well, you're a fool.
No, that's alright. I like Marcus Toe though.
Marcus Toe's fine. Like I'm just joking because I feel like Connor was going to complain about it.
I will a little. It's a little upsetting.
See, told you.
I just think it's one of those things where
each other's style well. It's fine.
They do. It's one of those, if they told me straight up from the start, look, Manapul ain't going to be doing all 4. He's going to have help on these issues with these people. I'll be fine for it. I just don't like being told I'm getting 4 issues of Manapul, open up my book and go, this ain't all Manapul.
I didn't think this is one of those things where he's not George Perez in Avengers vs. JLA, where it took how long for that book to come out because he was drawing everybody, you know? So I just kind of figured when they announced it, something that weekly, you know, he's not going to...
He got enough time ahead that he could have done, but apparently not.
Well, let's just go. We did this with the first issue. We'll just go through it. Let's give this the attention it deserves as being the main DC event thing going on right now. So I'm at the Wallers in the Arctic, near the fortress, 3 miles specifically. Because it's funny because when they said that at the start, I was like, oh, so she's going to end up at the fortress by the end of this issue. But no. Nothing to do with it. It just happens to be close by the fortress. Brainiac just put it near the fortress. It's fine. But she's arguing with General Lane. All shit's going down. She's trying to track because what she learned from Brainiac. She learned about this seed on Earth. So she's looking for this seed. But Oliver Queen shows up. Green Arrow shows up, and he's like, "What the hell's the Justice League, Waller? What have you done now?" And that's kind of just our opening teaser of the book. We'll just stick on that plot though, rather than jumping between them.
I just want to just on the transition there.
Yeah,
it's fantastic because where the hell's the Justice League, and then we cut to
Kolu.
Where the hell the Justice League is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that caption's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's really feeling like the tone from Metal has carried over.
Yeah, no, and more than that when we get to some of Star Wars fantastic lines later.
Star Bro,
whatever.
I'm gonna do it every time till you just say it out of habit.
Do you know what it is? I'm just not the kind of guy who says bro, so I'm not going to use it.
Nor am I, but he is a bro. So
like Matt says bro, that's Matt's dialect. It's just not in my
bro,
range.
Dude, guy, I use them all.
Yeah. I think I'm more inclined to drop like a really harsh word or something instead of bro, but mean it in a nice way.
I agree with that sentiment.
Oh God. Think of all the words you could say.
Anyway, so this Amanda Waller stuff. I mean, I did roll my eyes a little bit when we found out that most of the other heroes on Earth have been like trapped in containment cells. I'm like, oh really? Didn't we do that in Metal, where like a lot of them got trapped for a time?
Well, these ones though were the team members that were, that's why Green Arrow wasn't, or Supergirl. They're not a part of these teams that took on Brainiac.
Okay, that's a good point.
It's because Brainiac took them out still.
Yeah.
So instead of taking them up to his ship and taking them off, he's like, right, you're getting in a tube.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I feel like this is one of these tropes that happens a lot in these events where a lot of the heroes we're not using, we're going to have some weird reason why they're not around.
Yeah, take them off the board.
Yeah, and I think it would just be fine to say, oh, they're around fighting minions. Don't have to necessarily delve into it too much.
I think it's fine with some of them, but when you've got I think it's like Aquaman's a weird one because obviously he's a big leaguer. And it's like, why is he not?
Yeah, Brainiac's basically said like he's useless, so we're not bringing him. Harley Quinn. We've got 500-foot Celestials. Let's throw Harley Quinn at them, but Aquaman's staying at home.
I think it was like,
she's crazy.
She is.
I think Brainiac decided that he couldn't keep Aquaman hydrated enough off planet.
Yeah. Color's what is Morrison had the best. Is he techno-organic? No, that's X-Men. He had called them something along that way to where they're biological, but they're not organic. Like, it's this weird thing with the Kaluans. So, maybe they don't have water there.
You can correct me if I'm wrong here, but they split the art by everything on Kolu's Manapul, right? And then everything on Earth is Toll.
I believe so.
That's not a bad way of splitting it.
Pretty neat split, yeah.
Yeah. It gives them a different feel, so you actually almost buy a different atmosphere just because the art looks different. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, so basically we find out they get to this seed, and it's like, shit, this is... I mean, hell, like, Waller convinces Oliver to work with her, because he's just kind of, like, desperate. And there's also a little tease saying, hey, this thing that led him here, read the Green Arrow Annual by the Bensons to find out what that was.
Yeah.
Is that this month?
That's this month, yeah, it's in a couple of weeks, so week 5.
Yeah, cool.
So we can read that in a little bit and find out what that's all about. It's interesting that's coming out the same week as the final issue of this, but I guess it's connected, but it's not necessarily super important either. I don't feel like I'm missing a chunk of story by not having read it yet.
No, but I want to know where, because I always feel like he is a member of the Rogue Justice League.
Hmm.
If that makes any sense. Like, he doesn't play well with others, so that's why he wasn't there.
Well, the whole hard traveling hero arc in Percy's run was
Yeah.
kind of exploring that and how he relates to the rest of the team. So what I love though is when they find the scene, it's like, oh wait, it's already been activated. Oh, Brainiac must have had a failsafe in case anything happened to him. Oh, thanks, Waller. Come on now.
She is dense. It's her way or no way, right?
Pretty much.
So,
Oh, dear. She's royally screwed Earth. She is actually single-handedly doomed the planet with her arrogance.
I appreciate that he calls her out on this shit, though. It's like, really? Yeah, just had to go and do it, didn't you?
Yeah, just had to assemble all the psychics and go poking where you weren't supposed to poke.
well,
Yep.
Damn it, Waller. Damn it. So
show up in
that was
issue of Aquaman crossover. Make me read that. Ugh.
So, I mean, that gave me a chuckle that Waller's that much of a screw up. I was getting serious feelings of, when you're watching Legends of Tomorrow and like Ray's screwing up again, you're like, oh, god damn it, Waller.
But at least Ray's a bit more lovable.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You're not supposed to like her by design. Like,
Yeah. Nah, that's completely fair. So on to Kolu then. Kolu, where lots of big things happen. First of all,
Big giant monster is just gorgeous on that first panel.
That first panel's great. There's so much atmosphere. He's coming through the sort of the smoggy blue clouds and
So good.
yeah, it feels huge.
I want that just blown up as that's my new desktop background. That panel.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Was it big enough so that it's doesn't look like shit?
Yeah, once you get the HD version, blow it up nice.
Yeah. That's fair. So then obviously we have the League all trying to figure out what's going on. All the guard droids on Kolu are designed to target anything that's Brainiac tech, because obviously Kolu aren't very fond of Brainiac for obvious reasons.
right?
So they're dealing with that, and because they're all wearing Brainiac tech in their suits, they're all getting attacked. I want to point out Starro's love of Atom. He's like, right through his brain pan. I like you, tiny man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
This is the most I've ever liked Starro.
I know,
He
it's
has
great.
the best line of the issue, which we will get to.
Yeah, we're getting to that. So they basically figure out that there's 4 trees on Kolu, each one representing the different things: wisdom, wonder, so on, so on. And it's okay, right? So and they're each drawn to the one that's relevant to their team. And there's a bit of a debate where Batman's like, "Nah, we're going to redistribute ourselves into our own teams because we're the Justice League. We're not trusting that." And I actually love that. Just to go back to last issue with Jean and Lexi's kind of like weird understanding of each other, their camaraderie, even though the obvious differences. They're like, "Hey, Jean, do you want to tell him or should I?" He's like, "By all means, Luthor, you go ahead." And it's basically them two being kind of the smartest people there, arguably, are like, "Look, Brainiac is like the smartest being there is." Like, and I hate to admit that because I'm Lex freaking Luthor. But if he put us in these teams for a reason, we have to follow that plan. That is why we're here.
Yeah. I like that it's Lex because he does have a tie to the Justice League.
Yeah.
Because he's been fighting side by side with them. So, but yeah, so I like that it was Lex that put that out, not any of the other heroes. Because Martian Manhunter saying it, like, yeah, it makes sense. But it really has the impact coming from Lex because we know how arrogant he is.
It is. It takes a lot for him to admit he's not the smartest man in the universe.
Yeah, I like it as well because having like a villain and a hero kind of both agreeing about this, it kind of like it does that weird, really neat thing where it kind of shows that everyone in between should agree with them because it's the two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
really
like that layout underneath too because you have Superman on one side and then you have Lex on the other. So that just shows the balance there. It's super cool looking. And Harley is almost dead in the middle, like.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, and of course Batman's like, "Look, alright, fine. There's at least one leaguer in each team. I can live with that." And everyone's like, "Okay, fine." So we can all sort of keep track of our own teams. So that all makes sense. So they go after the trees, and we they're all at their various trees. There's sort of 2 that we focus on more in this issue because there's 2 that we don't really get to see what they are yet. But 2 of them that we do focus on, Entropy, of course, turns out to be a prison where lots of criminals are being held, and then the mystery one turns out to be what they're calling a nursery, and that turns out to be lots of planets that are shrunken in bottles. Because they bring up that Brainiac's tech is Colu tech. He took it and bastardized it for his own means, but this was something that came from Colu, and they're like, oh, should we release them? Well, that would create chaos. These are dormant worlds that, I mean, they're alive in the bottles, but they've been gone from the universe for so long.
Create the mystery, because it's like, oh, all these things that are there now, it's all new.
Yeah, so they power the mystery, but they agree they have to let them out. But they weren't in prison for bad reasons. Like Superman says, no, they were put there to keep them safe.
Keep safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all I can think of is when in John's Brainiac arc at the end they let go of Candor and all the problems it creates, but they had also let go this colony from Titan, and that's where Saturn Girl's descendants are from. So there's this whole, Brainiac's responsible for the Legion of Superheroes.
You mean ancestors?
Because, that's what I meant. Yeah, not descendants. The other one.
The other way around, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But, so I like here that Kalu is responsible for maybe some of these other planets in the future that,
That makes sense. I love the idea, because I feel like I've not seen it explored that much, where it's like, no, Brainiac's bottling tech was used for something good before he started tinkering with it and started stealing planets.
Before he got selfish.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
there was a purpose for it.
He became all of us when we're trying to get that, super rare whatever, and he just wants them all. So instead of saving the planet, he saves a piece of it.
He's playing Pokemon with planets, is basically what he's doing.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Also, when they first get to, because there's a great 2-page layout where it's columns and it's each tree and the teams are commenting on them. Again, I need to comment on the Starro line where they're describing, we don't know what's inside. There's a bubble.
We can't scan it.
We can't scan it. And then Starro's like, "You're saying it's a mystery? I'll show myself out." This is such a sense of humor. I love it. It's great. So obviously they all end up fighting various things around it. They get inside. We see the nursery. Meanwhile, Team Entropy's getting inside the prison. There's some fun stuff with the action where basically Beast Boy's kind of freaking out, and Lobo actually gives him a pep talk.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Lobo and Beast Boy is a fantastic pairing.
It kind of is, because not only does Beast Boy turn into a giant freaking lion, he then picks up Lobo, because Lobo's got like a chain weapon. He grabs the chain in his mouth and then swings Lobo into something, an enemy.
Beast Boy might be the MVP so far. The way, because he had all his great stuff with Batman, and now Lobo. I'm like, oh, okay.
This. Beast Boy and Starro, the standouts so far in terms of at least the comedy, if nothing else. Yeah, obviously Jean's been a bit of a standout as well. Just nice to have him back in a prominent role where he's making a lot of sense. So we get our big cliffhanger though, where they get into the prison. Obviously, Team Mystery's getting into the nursery and they're deciding what they're going to do. Also, I love that Starro calls Jean Marty at one point.
Yeah.
For Martian, that's pretty funny. Like I say, Starro, great, it's fantastic. So the big cliffhanger though is to get inside the prison, and just as they're getting in there, basically like, wait a minute, like our suits aren't letting us do various things. Like these Brainiac suits are stopping us from doing various things, and obviously, Jean was talking to everyone. He was using Starro to amplify his his telepathy out so he can talk to everyone. But just as they're realising this, that there was an ulterior motive, and there's a reason why they're going into this prison, is that there's someone in there who's feeling the entropy, someone who's feeling it more than anyone else in this prison. And our big final page, where the big title, page comes up, is we have Brainiac 2.0, we have Vril Drox, technically the second, because that's
Batman knows.
Who Batman knows.
Yep.
Yeah, that's well worth mentioning. Well, I didn't see this coming, so points.
Nope. That is fantastic.
Snyder somehow didn't spoil this part.
Nope.
Joe, I think that's my favourite thing about Snyder's talking. He'll spoil all sorts of things, but somehow there's still enough left that he spoils so much that you feel like you must know everything going in.
Yeah.
And yet, here we are.
Yeah. Brainiac 2.0. Matt, do you want to give the audience a history lesson as to who Brainiac 2.0 is?
Yeah, so he is the son of Brainiac. And although he being the son of Brainiac, he has a huge chip on his shoulder, so he doesn't want to be known as Brainiac's son. So he goes and does the opposite of what Brainiac would do.
Yeah, he's good. He tries to be a hero, essentially.
Yeah, and so he goes but he does it in a very Brainiac way.
Yeah,
so
very cold.
Yeah, and so he takes over a sector, and kicks the Green Lanterns out and is like, no, we're a private police force, and we're gonna run this sector, and everything comes through us. And that was a series called Rebels. He was also part of Legion, which is Legion with
Yeah, not Legion of
periods in
Superheroes, a different entity.
No.
Yeah.
But and it was very similar. Rebels was a follow up kind of to that. Very similar in tone.
Yeah, because if
kind of like the Legion of Superheroes, but they're a private institution.
If my limited knowledge on this stuff is correct, he's a big part of Legion, and then when Legion goes bad, because they eventually go down that sort of dark path, he actually becomes a big part of Rebels, who are there to counter Legion. It's kind of like he's policing his own thing after it goes bad.
Yeah, because of his thing got corrupted, and then so he ends up, creating a balancing force for that corrupted force that he created to begin with.
I did see some speculation on this, that perhaps Legion or Rebels is one of the the other team that Snyder mentioned is going to have a portal in the Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
Maybe, I just don't know, because these guys are so cosmic that why do they need to preoccupy with Earth?
No, that's fair. I mean,
I'm fine with this. This is the cosmic DC that I just love. Like, Tony Bedard's Rebels, one of my favorite runs. Like, he reinvented Starro as Star Conqueror, and that was a whole real cool thing.
Which I'm sure is good, but it's not measuring up to this Starro with his wisecracking.
No. But it was something that had never been done before. It actually anthropomorphized, like, the big Starro creatures that we know were just vessels for this, alien overlord that was the Star Conqueror. So, but no, he is sardonic. He's gonna, like, he is Luthiak. Like, he is all the good stuff that we like about Brainiac and Luthor in one vessel. So
I'm glad you explained that, because when you said Luthiak, I didn't really quite catch what you said. I was like, what did he just say?
Yeah, like on the Justice League cartoon, which, again, I feel like
Snyder is drawing from heavily. Yeah.
Well, given the lineup of Justice League that's coming up, that makes a lot of sense.
He often during his Batman run drew from the Batman animated series.
Yep.
We had an entire couple of issues just dedicated as like a homage to that stuff. So he's clearly a fan of that era, and so it doesn't surprise me that we're kind of getting him doing the same now with Justice League.
No, so we don't know what's in all two trees, so we know two of them now. We're presumably getting the next two next issue.
Yeah. So I'm assuming this 4-issue series is basically going to be Can We Save Kolu?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll maybe deactivate the seed on Earth as well, perhaps, or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Someone will.
Yeah.
But I feel like they can defeat these Celestials from Kolu by, I feel like it's going to be something that they create all the wonder to counteract all the wisdom and mystery and all that.
Obviously, not to forget that the tease in the DC Nation did have the Celestials showing up, the Omega Titans did show up on Earth. So
I wonder if they're just not fully dealt with in this run, and maybe that's why we have all the teams still for Justice League. They're not the exact same teams, but we have a multitude of teams.
Yeah, we have Odyssey, we have Dark, and so on. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. But hey, no, I assume you enjoyed the issue, though. We've not really talked about quality per se. Yeah. No, I had a blast. First thing I read, big, bombastic, smiling all the way through it, dealing with all these various
It'll
DC
be
characters.
the first thing I read next week too. After that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, week 4. Yeah, again, week 5.
I don't know where I start on week 5.
Doomsday Clock, No Justice, and Man of Steel. I mean, I know you're going to read Man of Steel first because you're Connor, but
but still a big week.
Yeah, it's a huge week. All of a sudden, week 5's like full of interesting things.
Yeah,
but hey,
the Green Arrow thing, like.
Oh yeah, I mean that pales a bit compared to those other main 3 things,
that's
but yeah.
Fine. I suppose I'll read that too.
Yeah, but I'm not talking in order of reading. I'm saying that's adding to the, you know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah,
sure,
it's quite a meaty week, yeah.
Yeah.
Given that when we started the show, week 5 was this barren wasteland, and we had to think of things to fill it with, now they're hitting us with all this stuff.
No longer.
So, there we go. That's No Justice issue 2. Having a blast. It's nice to be positive. It's funny, because I feel like every so often we'll get a comment from like a new listener who says, it's nice to hear DC fans being like positive about a lot of DC stuff. Like I feel like there's maybe a lot of other comic shows that are down on DC for whatever reason.
I don't get it, but I'm just a
Of course you don't, man.
I'm a real DC fanboy, so and believe me, I've had my low times with DC. It was from 2011 to about 2014. So
Yeah,
I'd be more specific than that. It was September 2011 to about April 2016.
No, because by 2014, I was just depressed and just dealing with it. So it wasn't.
I think there was still a point where they were when we got to like DCU. I stand by that initiative. There was a lot of good stuff in that.
And then Convergence happened, and I wanted to quit reading comics altogether.
I mean, don't talk about that.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
I don't know why you dragging us down with Convergence, Matt. Come on now.
Wait a minute. You guys are offering things to like Connor's Corner and Pete's section. Y'all should make them read Convergence.
Matt, how's about no? How's about no?
I'm just putting that out there.
No, actually, what?
What are the Brainiac 2 to you guys?
I would even mind reading Convergence. I'm sure Convergence would be fine.
Yeah, you would say that would.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a delightful read.
He's trying to do reverse psychology.
He is. He's trying to convince us that it's fine.
Yeah.
Never.
But inside, he's like, please don't make me do that.
Make the Scots one suffer.
Yeah.
Well, it's looking like Connor's going to have to read some Brimstone next month, so he's going to have to suck it up.
Oh man, I'm hitting Twitter hard now.
So that's no justice. I'll also be back next week with issues 3.
Yeah.
But good stuff.
Before we move on, we did get a request, didn't we, for the end of the books?
Oh yes, we're rating books now. Or we're trying it at least. We're going to try it for a couple of weeks. We'll see how it goes. If people hate it, then we'll reconsider. But
what if I hate it?
You don't got to say, Matt. the people are more important than you.
Common good. That's fine.
You're more important than Connor, though. Just for the record.
Well, I have a soul, so it's fine.
That's fine. I've got cider.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Ratings.
And a drinking problem.
Connor. I do not have a drinking problem. It's just a lovely summer's day, and I want a nice toffee apple cider.
That's what people with drinking problems say. I'm sure you can quit anytime you want, right?
I could, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I like my drink. Yeah. It's nice.
All right. So what do you guys rate this?
Yes, Connor, rate.
Let me have a look. What did I give it? I gave this an 8.
Give it an 8. Matt.
I too gave it an 8. If y'all make me go first, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I will. I think I'll go slightly higher. I'll go say 8.5. These are all out of 10, of course.
I didn't know we were doing points. I thought we were doing clean numbers.
You can do 0.5s.
No, then mine's an 8.5 too.
For reference, I gave the first issue an 8.5. This gets knocked down a little bit because it's not all Manapul.
Yeah, for reference, I gave the first issue a 9, so I went down a 0.5 as well.
I didn't rate the other one, so.
This is going to be fun just to make Matt rate everything. He's going to be.
It is because for me, I do it anyway as I'm reading them, so I've just have to refer back to what I jotted down.
It's because you guys are Coloan deep down. You got that Coloan DNA. You have to create columns. Like y'all have spreadsheets in your brain, and I don't. I have like, what are those word balloons where everything is just jumbled up? And have you guys seen those? No?
Are you thinking of like a mind map kind of thing?
Kinda. And it's just whatever floats, whatever I'm closest to in the moment,
It's a collage of ideas.
The rating thing will be weird for a few weeks until we kind of... Because obviously everyone has a slightly different scale, but you can judge from reference. So, I gave this slightly lower than what Peter did and Matt did, but... Over a few weeks, you'll kind of see it balance as to, okay, you know what to expect from what people, like what an 8 means to each of us. For example.
8.5 because it's still big and cosmic, lots of fun moments, but down just slightly for the tropey, rid of the rest of the heroes in containment tubes, and obviously the art's changed.
Yes.
So
mine got an extra 0.5 just for real docs. Man, that's a hard word for me to say.
All right, let's move on.
Thoughts?
Let's move on to Batman 47. Tom King writing, Tony S. Daniel on the art. And this, of course, is the end of The Gift. This is the three-part story in the alternate timeline because Booster has pulled a bit of Amanda Waller and screwed up royally.
So I'm just gonna be upfront. I had some problems with this, and I'm sure once we talk it out, those problems will melt away. But I have some timey-wimey issues here.
Timey-wimey. What's your timey-wimey issues?
So Booster create the let's call it a pocket universe now, right?
Sure.
Where the Waynes didn't die until much later, and they still die, and it creates this, let's say, Punisher version of Bruce Wayne, right? But then Skeets takes them back to Crime Alley, right before they die, and Skeets and Booster come in, right from before, like past Skeets and Booster.
Yeah.
But Batman or Punisher Bruce shoots past Booster, right, and kills him because he disappears. If he did that, wouldn't future Booster cease to exist? Because now none of this happened.
Well, I'm going to counter that by saying, did past Booster definitely die?
Yeah,
he shot,
I didn't
for
see
sure.
him disappear, did he? He definitely gets shot and he falls.
Yes.
Okay, but that would have changed everything from him, right? I'm just using time travel rules here, and it's not really a closed loop, so we can't do those time travel rules. So this one is that him being shot would have altered what he does with Bruce.
Yeah, it's a paradox. But
Right.
I assume because he is a time traveler and he has to be able to change things, the fact the fact that he knows about an outcome in the first place and then changes it is a paradox in itself. So his tech must have something that allows these things to occur.
But then, so this is what I'm having trouble with is Skeets though. There's a second Skeets now because it gets blown up and the Skeets from the past, right? So that Skeets from the past is there because Skeets from the future got destroyed. It's just creating all sorts of these loose threads, and I don't know how this scenario plays out for Booster to be the Booster he is at the end,
I think you're overthinking it. Like I say, I think it's just a paradox. So his tech just allows it to work as a straight line from his perspective.
Yeah, that just doesn't gel with the Booster.
I think
time travel stuff.
It's the only way he can change anything and then change it back. Because otherwise he'd never remember what he did. He'd never learn from anything. And
Right, but as we know in the DC Universe, time like this is a fixed point. So there's things that are like set in concrete. If the concrete's still pliable, then you can change things. Something like Batman's parents and this whole side universe and whatnot, where at the end Booster goes nuts. I just don't know how any of this still happens with the time travel rules. So it's like King just threw them all out to tell the story.
It's not happened. They've stopped it.
no, but he said
But not
it
to
did
Booster.
happen, because to Booster it happened.
Yes, the Booster still remembers all of it. It still all happened to Booster.
Right, but it's not. Oh man, Sword King gets me.
I think he's saying that Booster shouldn't have been able to experience it in the first place because he shouldn't have been able to save the Waynes because DC is saying, no, that's a fixed point. You can't change that.
Well, there's that. Plus, when he goes back, because they go back right before, right, Booster and Skeets go to stop it, to give him the gift in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So that cheese plate joke, right? By that Bruce being there this time, it completely alters what past Booster has done to lead to future Booster to get to that point with the Punisher.
Which is kind of the point anyway, because Booster was always going to go back and stop himself from doing it. Because even like original Booster in the past, when he shows up, he's like, "Oh hey, I'm already back from the future to stop me from doing this." Like he actually says that essentially.
I must have missed that part. I must have been so in the timey-wimey I missed.
So he's fully aware of what he's doing. younger Booster being shot is kind of weird, but I don't necessarily think that. I don't know if DC's ever really played with the whole the future one will fade away because the younger one was, killed.
Yeah, but that's just time travel though. Like, I look at time travel like a straight line still, right? Like, yeah, you can jump at points in time, but that one character is still going through it linearly.
I think you have to not look at it as a straight line then for this version.
Yeah, there's different versions of time travel that work differently.
That means that there's a Pocket Universe Booster then, and that's him now. Like, because this is not the same Booster that jumped back in the past. If it's not a straight line. This is why I didn't like
it is
Primer.
From his perspective. That's why I'm saying his tech must have something that allows him to stay in existence when he changes things, because otherwise he would just fade away. So the fact that this version does experience all of it and comes back.
Do you know what's so funny? I saw so much negative stuff online about this arc in this issue this week, but none of it had anything to do with this.
and I'm not negative on it. I'm just, look, we all know I'm the Booster Gold fan here, right? I'm pretty familiar with the different time travel-y stuff in the DCU. This is a new one. And we all know how I am with new things. Go back and watch our Mr. Miracle review where for number 1, where they talked me into it, and it's become one of my favorite things. And I put this up there not with quality, but with how it broke my brain.
I think it may very well be a new time travel for this, but I think it's a version I've seen elsewhere, so I've just accepted. Okay, we're doing that one.
Yeah, from various other like sci-fi movies or.
Yeah, I don't think I feel like there's a set time travel for DC.
This is the only thing I ever get dogmatic with is with comic book continuity. Everything else I'm just kind of like, yeah, well, that changed. But I guess it's one of my own things. I wish I could just
put it this way: for here, nothing changed except to Booster. To him, everything changed. So he experienced it all. He lived through it all. His time travel tech allowed him to experience it.
I might have to tweet at King and ask him what the mechanics are, just because I need to know.
Well, I think that's the big thing for me is that Booster going through this is kind of the point. Like, the end of this issue is dark as shit, and it's really depressing. And it's like Booster screws up things so badly that when he comes back, because obviously I did enjoy some of the stuff. Obviously the banter between Booster and Skeets is great. That cheese tray argument, you cheated and you didn't finish your abs thing, and all the rest of it. Yep. And when he's like, hey Bruce, because Bruce is the one who's like, he spent a year building Skeets so that he can go back in time. He's like, it won't work without the right voice. So that's why he goes to Booster, who's got the big beard and all the rest of it. And
Gene in the Batcave.
And he's like, hey, tell the robot, tell Skeets to take us back to this date. And he's like, it doesn't work like that. You have to say an event, right? He's like, okay, take me back to before my parents died. And then I love that parallel of going, yes, Skeets, you heard the man. Take us back to before his parents died. Wank. It's like the original time his parents died. I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, it was very Rocket and Guardians too.
It was. Yeah.
Am I winking with? They can see me winking. Okay.
I do question how Bruce saw him winking, because he was turned away, hand up, and Bruce's like, you just winked. I'm like, he's got his back to you.
Yeah.
Because he put his hand up, it was obvious he was doing something he didn't want to see.
It's like when someone goes, when someone messes up when you go to talk to someone, you put the hand up, you put it on the wrong side. It's like one of those type of deals,
Deduction. Also, Matt, your mic, I think, is going maybe slightly, a little bit. I don't know. Hard to tell. A little bit of a pop.
Too bad. We call it brainiacing, but we can't call it doxing because that's something else on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. So that's an issue's dark as shit. So he goes back in time, and he ends up getting his younger self shot. And after Punisher Bruce Wayne with a big machine gun from this new timeline, hears his parents be shot in the alleyway. He commits suicide. He puts a gun to his head and blows his brains out.
I love how this parallels to the start of this story. Booster watching Hal Jordan do this to himself. Yeah.
It was the same thing, because we get that one page at the end where he's telling, you know, Batman and Catwoman, you know, regular Batman and Catwoman, what he's done, and he keeps saying how he keeps cleaning his visor, but he can't get the blood off of it.
It's very Macbeth, right? You know, she keeps washing her hands to get the blood off, but there's nothing there.
Out damn spot.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, this is like so broken. I know some people have not been thrilled. They've not liked the characterization of Booster. They feel he's out of whack.
Yeah, that was my other takeaway, and I feel like they've done a lot of work to make him like, yeah, he's a goofball, but when he's running around the time stream, he's actually a serious hero, and he's good at his job. And between Action Comics and this, I feel like he's just back to being that bumbling idiot.
Well, this is the thing. I feel like this is a different version to the one we just got in Action Comics, and I suspect this is a younger Booster Gold. I know
he's time traveling, so that's the weird thing with Boosters. We can actually jump around where he is in characterization.
Right. I did say this in the first issue because you know we just did this whole thing with Action with Superman, where he's like, no, we can't do this. We just can't.
Yeah, I wonder if this is the story of how he learns the consequences of messing with time when he's not supposed to.
Right, and I feel like this is him younger. He was bumbling, of course, you know, and then it's like, okay, now this is where he becomes serious.
If you're going to change a character that drastically, right, let's take away him being in a past version and whatnot, you better have a pretty damn good ending and a reason why, and I feel like King does stick it, because Booster is broken by the end of this.
Yeah,
you know?
And as we said earlier, King said, "Oh, there's a big Booster story coming. Like he's going to be the center of this big thing."
I do think it's fair to criticize the characterization though, because it is very different to what we just got, and I think the story justifies it to an extent. You know, especially the ending leaves it in a really interesting place for the next story.
It might be wrong. I feel like you can mess up characterization, and it can be wrong, and it can be bad. Here, I feel like it's wrong, but not bad, because he still has that relationship with Skeets. He still is, you know, bumbling through and making wisecracks and whatnot.
I mean, forgetting the fact that we had a Booster story recently in something else where we are assuming that's an older Booster after he's learned his lessons here. Yeah. Just on its own, this does feel like, no, this is him learning the consequences of messing with time irresponsibly like this.
I think this feels like a version of Booster. Like I said, we've done bumbling Booster before. It's not the most recent version, but we have done it. This feels like a version that I can recognize, even if it's not the current.
Yeah, this feels like Booster before Ted. Even though he references Ted, this is kind of very much who he was before. I can't believe it's not the Justice League and that stuff.
And I think it's funny because obviously we had the same thing happen with Poison Ivy, right? In this run where people were like, that's not where Poison Ivy is right now. And we got a whole retraction arc. So I hope we don't have to go through that.
But again, with that Poison Ivy stuff, it can be wrong but still good. And I still enjoyed where that went, even if the ride there was a little bumpy. You know? Same here. There's a lot of good here. Like, no matter what you do to Bruce, if you take his parents away, that's his driving force, and he's going to do what he can to make it right in whatever way he can.
Is stronger than the Ivy arc, because I think the actual drama and what it's doing to Booster's psychology is a lot more. Yeah. It feels a lot closer to something like Mr. Miracle, where I'm getting this like depression from it, where that's where King thrives. It's putting the heroes through an absolute hell.
You love doing this thing every Wednesday? Here, enjoy this.
So the difference for me between the two arcs, obviously I did not like the Ivy arc. I do like this. This has a plot. This has a story to back up. Whereas the Ivy one to me felt like a vehicle for banter loose. And then an apology.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, no, there's a plot here. There's a character drive for Booster, as well as seeing how this affects other people.
Yeah. So
that said, I got King writing two of my favorite characters in arcs, so I'm okay with that.
Batman and Booster? Yeah, quite right, Matt.
Yeah, shut up. But yeah, and I think he writes a good Booster. He is quippy still, even though he's very from Treasure Island, the guy that got left on the island, and he's just crazy from being left by himself. He's very much like that when we see him in this issue.
Oh yeah, that beard looked great. Daniel's arc here was great.
Yeah, it is good.
And he's just quipping away and whatnot.
It's a coping mechanism for Booster, and that shows here.
Yeah, no.
And
I like this show a lot. I think it's probably my favourite of the three of the arc because it's the one that makes the big dramatic point. Booster at the end being so broken, like hit like the dramatic point it was supposed to. Where I feel this, I feel that he is just a mess now, and we have to deal with him. So I think this will be interesting to come back to it, and obviously King's saying that they will come back to it. So we'll see when that is.
It's just a question of whether it'll be King or someone else.
Yeah, given that this lines up with maybe this whole sanctuary thing that King's doing, I feel like it probably will be King, but we'll see. We'll see what comes from it.
Possible.
Hey, so that is Batman number 47.
Yeah. So just to rate that one, I guess.
Yes, ratings. Matt, you can go first this time.
Yeah, this was despite the booster stuff, this was a 9 because it affected me. I got to the end and I wasn't upset. Like, yeah, my brain was a little broke from the time travel stuff, but it was all worth it for that last page.
Watch Matt like go on 10 minutes about how the time travel doesn't work, and then give it the highest rating at the end of the discussion. I'll go. I will always go last. I'll be nice and rotate us a little bit. I think I'll go a little bit lower actually. Bizarrely, I'm gonna go with an 8. I think with this one. I think it's really solid. I think the dramatic stuff it does really well. I think my only problems with this arc really is that the way it sort of jumps through a lot of the different times. I could have maybe been fleshed out just a little bit. Maybe another issue to make it feel like the pacing wasn't so quick and like sort of like jumpy. It kept jumping forward in time, and it made sense for what it was doing with each part of the time period. But like I felt like there was maybe a little bit more to do with the whole Joker eyes thing that was introduced in the first issue of it, or maybe a little bit more to do with where the Robins ended up or whatever. After we sort of got what they were up to. But no, minor quibbles. But no, I think it was a solid arc. So issue's an 8 out of 10 for me. Matt, Connor.
No, I also give it an 8. I think. It's very good. It had to jump through a few hoops, like I'm having to explain away that, it's a younger booster to kind of set my mind at ease with it. But I would rather not have to be even questioning that. But, the emotional beats landed. But like I say, I think it needed a bit more time as an arc. It paced a little funny. Things like, the stuff you mentioned, but also like Catwoman feels a little shortchanged, perhaps.
I like the idea of Catwoman in this timeline being completely psychotic, but it maybe didn't get built up enough to. Yeah,
seeing some impact of that, of like, okay, what caused this, rather than just okay, she's a crazy cat killer.
Yeah,
I kind of like that though, because I look at like, say, Connor doesn't enjoy these movies because he hasn't seen them, but Back to the Future, to where when he goes to the future, in the second one, you kind of just touch on these things, and you can kind of get the beats from them without having to completely understand them. So I was okay with all that stuff.
I guess that's the point though, is that I don't feel like you do get the beats of the Catwoman, like why she is this way, beyond just
I mean, it's a broken I could say maybe she was Jokerized, but I'm reaching. I don't actually know.
Yeah. There you go. So 9 and 2 8s you got for that one. So you can average it out yourselves.
yeah. Wouldn't want us doing maths, would we?
No. So next up, Superman Special #1 with the main story by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason writing, and then Scott Godlewski on the art. So this is the final Superman story of this run. So back to Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, boy.
Need to save Storm. Need to go save him.
Yeah.
Captain Storm.
God,
I want a pulp book by Tomasi. It's just all these heroes. I love that era so much. So this all starts because John's looking at that leg that he kept, and he's kind of growing his own collection, and
of legs?
No,
souvenirs.
like souvenirs from.
I got what you meant. I just wanted to make a joke.
Yeah. And the guilt's sitting in him. He's a young kid, and it's like, well, we have to go back. And I forgot that it was Manchester Black that kind of sent them there, because
I'd forgotten that too. I'll be honest, that was so long ago.
See when it mentions Dinosaur Island and everything that happened. The little editor's note says way back in issues 8 and 9. I'm like, damn, that was a long time ago.
It was, and so they go there, and I'm looking at Captain Storm, and he has 2 legs, and I was like, wait a minute. what the hell's going on here? And then the dinosaur rips off his boot, and he's got a dinosaur leg, and I'm not even mad. Like,
why would you be?
I'm just like, that's cool. I was not expecting him to grow a dinosaur leg, but this is awesome. This is the type of comic books that I like. That it's just,
Can we just take a second to appreciate that Matt spent 10 minutes complaining about time travel in Batman, but hey, this man grew a dinosaur leg. That's cool.
Because Connor, it's Dinosaur Island, where things happen. There was
Mm-hmm.
zombie soldiers with flipping tentacles coming after them too.
Yeah,
and Superman and Superboy teleport inside the tummy of a T-Rex, which that was sad. Don't know how I feel about
the
dinosaurs.
tummy of a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Not the stomach.
I think he wanted the alliteration. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I did.
Well, you should go watch Tammy and the T-Rex then. You'd love that movie.
I know, you keep telling me about it, and I can't,
I'll tell you this, you'll never guess how it ends. That's all I'm saying. You'll never guess what the final scene of that movie is. Paul Walker's brain's in a petri dish.
Well, thanks for ruining it.
No, I didn't spoil the whole thing. There's something else happening to the brain in the petri dish.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Let your imagination run wild. So Joy wants to go and save him, and Superman's like, yeah, we should. I did like the little dig that he's like, me and Damien were messing with this when you weren't here. And he's like, you could have accidentally like thrown yourselves into like another universe and not had any way of getting back. Should I be locking the fortress?
Yes.
Probably.
Always yes.
Yeah.
I would love to see the return of the massive key.
Yeah. I wonder if John could lift that yet.
I don't think so, because it's still like, yeah, he's strong, but I still think it's too unwieldy. I don't even think. I think Supergirl might be able to pick it up, but other than that, not too many people could. So
yeah. Also, I like that after they come through the stomach of the dinosaur, they use their super breath on each other to get rid of the gunk and blood and membrane.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
Yeah. John's face in particular in the art, it's like he's on a roller coaster with his hair blowing back and the cheeks kind of going back.
It's so strong. Yeah,
it's good stuff.
And I did laugh, for when he does it back to Clark, it's just nowhere near the same effect. He's still square jawed.
Yeah, I also like the joke that at one point in mid battle when they're flying, he just throws the captain over to Joy. He's like, "Hey, catch!" And John's carrying the captain. It's all very good fun. It's a fun story. It's very pulpy. It's very fighting dinosaurs.
I missed this. Like, through some of the arcs that we've gotten, I missed how fun this series used to be. Just
it's really bittersweet, isn't it? Because you're like, God damn it! Why do they have to do this at the? I almost wanted this ending just to be shit, so that I'm like, good, it's gone. I can move on.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's fantastic. I'm like, why did we waste half of this run on shite when we could have had this?
It's really solid. I mean, bring it back to present day. Cyborg's dad hooks him up with a cybernetic leg, and before they leave, he insists on going to the cave to grab the dog tags of his comrades so that he can go around and give them to family members. And he's learning about present day, and we see him like out in the road, and he can't sleep in the bed, so he sleeps in the truck instead because that's what he's used to, the being outside and sleeping on something hard. Yeah,
and we should point out he keeps the eye patch because pirates never go out of fashion.
Exactly.
That's right.
And
exactly.
He is right on that.
Honestly, my only critique is that a couple of and it's not actually a problem in this issue. It's only a problem because it's making me think of when this run got really preachy. It's when they're talking about how there's been conflicts since and there's all these people died, but we have to respect them, and you always welcome our. It was giving me flashbacks of them talking to the homeless vet and that two-parter.
Yeah,
with the field
but I
trip.
felt here with this because I feel in this country we want to support the troops until they come back, and then they come back, so I'm like, oh well, you guys are on your own. So I like that the sentiment was there.
This works way better. This is much better than that was in that handled in that story.
It's still a little on the nose in the dialogue, isn't it? I think Tomasi has no subtlety when it comes to this.
Yeah.
He gave a man a dinosaur foot. What subtlety?
I mean, if anything, Lois gets a little bit shortchanged because she's only really in the last couple pages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I love how they left her a note, and then
she didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm glad that Lois called him out on because he said to Storm that he got a good detective friend to.
Yeah. And we're all thinking Batman, right?
Yeah. That's clearly the implication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lois is like, "What? You give Batman credit for my work?" And he's like, "No, you're the greatest detective. He's second best." I'm like, we'll say that in front of him. We'll see how that conversation goes.
I do feel that Batman does get a little touchy when Lois is around because she is that great of a. She has a nose for that.
Yeah,
she's such a good reporter.
Yeah, I know we kind of did the joke though when they met that she kind of figured out who Batman probably was once she knew who Superman was. But I do kind of like the idea of like her not figuring that out, and then that's the one thing Batman gets to lord over forever, that you never figured out who I was.
Because there's a way to do that to where he had someone else in the suit or whatever. So Bruce Wayne. Because they used to do that all the time in the Silver Age.
Oh yeah. Someone else, Jean would shapeshift or something to disguise.
It's a staple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I fully believe that. Like that's he tried, and then once they really got to know each other, she figured that out. She was like, "Oh, so you're a liar. That's your superpower, Batman, is you lie."
And of course we end with the very meta, like Clark shutting the bedroom door. It's it's the end of Cheers with the close sign being like, "We're done." That's what it is.
Well, did you say that Storm goes and he delivers all the dog tags back home?
Yes. You see him on the road doing all that.
Yeah. Which I really like that because he goes to all the guys and to make sure. And it just felt really nice. It's some of the stuff, and I know you guys aren't big on the Cat movie, but it's kind of the stuff that I like there. Like, him being a man out of time and trying to cope with that. So,
that's not in that movie though. That doesn't happen till
the second one.
The better movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the end of Cap.
Oh, the one scene.
Like,
the one scene.
That whole literally 90 seconds maybe.
Yeah, it's more than 90 seconds.
Okay.
It's like 3 minutes.
It's like 2% of the movie, Matt.
That's fine. Generous.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I like the man out of time stuff. So, and I hope we see more Captain Storm.
Yeah, no. My favorite sequence is when he's getting into the bed and he's rolling around. He can't get comfy. The art there is really good at selling it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Godlewski does a good job throughout.
Yeah.
Yep. John's expressive childhood face, for example, is quite good throughout as well. So no, it's a solid story. It's a nice send off to the run, which is started off really strong, had a lot of downs as we kept going. But it's nice that it had like a final nice little story to wrap up with. But for some reason they insisted on these Action and Superman final issues being specials with extra stories. So we have a couple other ones to talk about.
They'll justify the price, isn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, just charge a little bit less and just have it be the main
But
story.
you know what? I like these. I mean, these two in particular more than the Action ones.
I like one of them more than the other.
Yeah, well, the first one is Strays and Strangers, written by Mark Russell. Brian Hitch is on the art. And Superman's fighting a giant alien creature, and kind of the gist of this is that everyone's like, "Hey, kill it, Superman, kill it." He's like, "No, he's just a stray. He's a big alien creature who doesn't."
Well, he's an Atlantean.
Or sorry, an Atlantic creature. You're right. Same differences basically.
Too many A's.
He's not causing problems. He's just hungry. And so I always love the compassionate side of Superman like that.
I did like when he called it a tickle punch.
Yeah, tickle punch. Yeah. So but the idea that it's just an animal, it's just stray. There's nothing. There's no reason to actually kill it. And we get this little flashback of Pa Kent kind of talking about this. And he saves this old man. The old man wants him to come back for his wife's photos because his memory's not as good as it used to be. So he needs his photos of his wife to remember her. And he ends up saving a dog instead, and he doesn't get the photos, so he fails.
And the old man's kind of upset.
But he takes the dog, and it's like, I'll be fine.
Yeah. I think is this the one that's got the flashback to the parents' funeral, the Kents?
Yep.
Yeah, that annoyed me a little bit because I was like, no, Ma Kent lived for a long time, and she was still around. Damn it!
And I go Superman the movie continuity where Pa died while Clark was still a teenager.
Sure, yeah, that's...
And not the stupid Man of Steel way. I'm talking heart attack thing that Clark couldn't actually prevent. Even John's Brainiac, it's a heart attack. Clark couldn't,
I like that in theory, but this is out of continuity as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
it's fine.
But I like that it talks about the compassionate side of Superman, and he's he's trying to save the building, and he really is trying to get the pictures, but it's the pictures or the dog, and so and I like at the end that he's well, yes, your wife, but your wife would want you to move on.
I don't fault the choice. It just made me chuckle at the end where Superman's failed and the man's lost his photos of his wife.
I will say it felt a little bit cheap how Superman felt really weak. You know, it's like, I'm suddenly, I'm so weak I can't even scan the building with my X-ray vision.
Yeah, that was a little bit strange.
I was like, what's going on here?
I'm not a fan of Hitch's art typically, and I maintain that here. I don't really like how he draws his face or, well, most faces, not just Superman's face. Yeah. I'm not particularly into it. So I
do quite like the very last panel, the silhouette with the sun.
Well, that's because it's you don't have to do detail in a silhouette.
Yeah, I thought that panel was quite nice. But
that panel's nice. Yeah, I'm not a Hitch guy though, so I was kind of lukewarm on this middle story.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't big on it.
All right. And then the final story is called Split Decision. It is Ian Flynn writing and Carrie Andrews on the art. So this is an Atomic Skull related story where Atomic Skull is working with Maggie Sawyer. This is pretty cool because it's kind of linking up with all the stuff that was in Superwoman where he's working with them now. And they're going to get a Shockwave, who's like a sort of old villain buddy of Atomic Skull. And it's basically Superman kind of trusting Atomic Skull to not, be a villain and like have his back, and ultimately he makes the right choice and beats Shockwave and helps Superman, because Superman's about to die basically. Shockwave's like, oh, even you've got a frequency, Superman, that if I manipulate you'll basically implode, dead. It's going to happen.
It's all about trust between the two, and and I like that they can come to terms at the end here, and Atomic Skull is trying to be good.
Yeah, because they're basically okay. We're not best friends yet. We're not like we still have like this history, and you don't have to like me, but you did the right thing. So, I think it's interesting. That one also ends with a little, because the first story ended with never the end, and it was kind of like, okay, it's the end, but you never know. Superman's always going to continue. This one just ends with not the end, and it makes me wonder if there is actually going to be some sort of continuation of this.
With Atomic Skull, yeah.
And some
I'm
fun.
down. I really like this short story. Like it's short, but it's really nice, and I think the art's gorgeous.
The art's pretty nice. Yeah,
I like Carrie Andrews.
I like. I mean, I like the overall sentiment of like he can be good and he's doing good. He's been working with Sawyer and he's been doing a good job. Yeah. And Superman kind of like trusts in him to like be better, and he believes in second and third chances and so on. So no, I like this one quite a bit.
I love the action panels where the backgrounds just go white or to a block color, and we just get the sound effect with the huge letters behind them. They really have impact, and that one of Superman punching him is fantastic.
Yeah, the one is punching him, and then there's one a couple of pages before that with
the sound going off.
With the sound effect, and they're both been like hit with it. Oh, that's good. No, that's great. Also, I'm liking that when we get Superman kind of in, like, not quite silhouette, but they do that thing where it's all black except the logo, but it's also the trunks now are still red.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cape, the logo, the boots, and the trunks.
Yeah. So now we get the trunks back. It actually looks better when they do that now. So, no. I actually kind of like Atomic Skull. It grew on me in Superwoman.
Yeah.
I like him.
Well, he was a character I didn't care about, and now that he actually has a story that it helps, and he's trying to be good, and I even like that Superman calls him by his first name. He calls him Albert. He doesn't call him by his name, like his code name. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Atomic Skull's like, no, Atomic Skull's fine.
Yeah, I like Atomic Skull.
It's like, just let's. I think it's the idea that it's just let's just keep this a professional. Like, he doesn't want to be friends.
No.
I feel like, I don't know if everyone else feels it. I mean, Matt might not. I don't know if you like Ghost Rider, Matt, but I think I fit into this really weird niche where I like Atomic Skull more than Ghost Rider, and people can fight me on it. It's fine.
I like the idea of Ghost Rider, but I've never read a Ghost Rider story that I was like, yeah, that's my thing.
I don't know. There's just something about atomic purple energy coming around the skull.
Yeah, it's cooler, isn't it?
It's cold in flames.
They look similar, but they couldn't be further apart from characters, because Atomic Skull is very much a sci-fi. Like, it's in his name. And Ghost Rider is very magic. And I don't understand why he needs to ride a flaming motorcycle, but cool, whatever.
Because I really like Director Bones as well. I like DC's skull-based characters just better.
So to you, Director Bones better than Red Skull,
Yes,
Atomic
easily.
Skull
Oh,
better
that's
than
no
Ghost
question.
Rider.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everyone's better than a Nazi, but you're talking characterization.
Yeah. Yeah. While we're on it. Oh, God. Black Mask. I was trying to think of the Batman villain there. But Black Mask. I like him better than other Skull characters from Marvel, too.
Does Marvel have any more?
I don't know. I can't think of any.
So I was going to say, when plays show the DC Skull characters? You guys know what when plays show is, right? Where you rank them?
I have no idea.
No, sorry.
Is this like, F, marry, kill? Is it?
It's kind of but without the, the Mary and the effing. You know, you don't need that. But yeah, so wins the top one, plays the second, and then show. So like in a dog show, you have the winner, the second place, and then the one that
Oh, so rank the three things basically. Right.
Exactly.
It's kind of much easier, right? You're just going, well, it takes away the difficulty of the choice.
Yeah, just one play show.
I mean, I don't know if I can put Atomic at number one yet. I feel like
for me he is, because I'm not a big fan of Director Bones. Like, yeah, he's cool, but so I go Atomic Skull, Director Bones, Black Mask. Not a big fan of Black Mask at all.
No, I'm with Matt. Same order for me.
Nah, I'd probably still put Bones at top just now. But I mean, Skull's growing on me. More Atomic Skull you give me, the more I might shift towards his side of things. But
the Black Mask is the worst Skull in DC.
He is. He's still a fit. I like when they use him though, because it's like, okay, rather than having a generic mob boss, we can use Black Mask instead.
See, if they would give me Black Mask, I would do something completely different with him. But he'd still be a mob boss, but not. I don't like the idea that the mask became him. So
sounds very existential, Matt.
It is.
This is probably why they're not going to give you Black Mask.
No, not. I'd also turn him into a lucha theme villain. So whatever, like El Sombrero.
You can do the same with Bane.
Yeah, Bane's got lucha ties.
Yeah, but I don't. I like him as what we have him as. I don't need to make him lucha.
You could have him team up with Black Mask.
Tag team lucha death match, where the ring's made of barbed wire. We're going DC Dub on this one.
Oh dear, and a wrestling reference, of course. We got there eventually, because Matt has to do it.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's Superman. We should rate the Superman book then. This is a weird one because there's 3 stories, but I think we do have to rate it as a whole, not as the individual stories. So, Connor, you can go first this one.
The middle story drags it down a bit, but I really like the other two, so I'm going 8.5.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, this is an 8. So.
I think I have to go just a smidge lower. I'm going to go with a 7.5 on this one. I don't like the middle story particularly much, and I do like the first and last stories, but they don't necessarily knock me out of the park. They don't knock me away. Like I think they're solid. But
Kari Andrews' art in that story puts it above a 7.5 for me.
That's fair. But I actually think that may be my favourite of the 3. I may like that more than the first story.
I think I do. But I had a blast with the first one as well. So this is one of the most fun comics I read this week.
Dinosaur Foot.
All right, we'll move on then to Green Lanterns number 47. Tim Seeley writing, V. Kenneth Marion on the art. This is the final part of this arc of Jessica being in the power ring, and the whole dealing with her past, and Simon getting in to rescue her. Constantine's outside with the Justice League. Everything's going on.
And it also doubles as the final of the run.
It now doubles as the final of the run, yes. And also neatly kind of finally fulfills the foreshadowing from Jeff Johns' final issue, Green Lantern 20 from New 52.
I'm glad they're dealing with, because we can get past it now.
Yeah.
Because again, I get dogmatic about continuity, and Jeff says it's going to happen, so it has to happen.
And now it's happened.
So we can get past it. And put Jessica with Starfire and be my new favorite Justice League team.
Yeah,
down for that.
Yeah. So So no, I thought this was pretty solid. Simon talking Jess down, kind of making her realize that no, the reason why like you could have sunk into the power ring before, but you didn't. You chose compassion and love and the good memories of your friends, and your will overcame it. You overcame that. That's why you've bonded with your ring like no one else has. That's why the ring has an attitude. It's why it has a personality, because you did that. Which of course is leading into the next story, because the final page is Hal Jordan being sent by the Guardians to, hey, this ring's getting like out of control. This is not allowed.
The AI has been altered, and that's not allowed.
Because when that happens, Guardians die, and I hate the Guardians, and just, God, I hate those little blue bastards.
Oh, just some casual blue racism from Matt.
Oh no, that's the point though, right? Like, we're not supposed to look at the Guardians and be like, yeah, they're making the right choices. It's always like, no, they're screwing things up, and they continue to screw things up.
Yeah, usually they're kind of like it's almost like a critique of politics. Like they're the politicians who are meddling at the top without really understanding or considering the real implications of what they're doing. That's really what they are. So
yeah, I like the stuff with Constantine here, just with her sister.
Yeah,
I thought that was all pretty fun because Singularity Jane sucks up all the rest of the Justice League, and more allusions to her being Satan. Talking about the apple.
Yeah,
the
like
tree.
yeah, because I they feed on the apple, then I feed on them, but no one's actually been in the garden for a long time, so I had to come knocking elsewhere.
I also like the idea that she's been around so long that she just accepted. It's kind of like in Phantoms, where the creature believes it's Satan.
Are we talking about the Ben Affleck movie from like 1986?
Yeah, Affleck was a bomb in Phantom, Joe.
This is such a deep
where's
pull.
that going this week?
I don't know. This is such a deep reference to something that should be forgotten, quite frankly.
It should be, but I like the one thing I remember from that movie outside of Ben Affleck was that when they face the creature at the end, it's so old it believes itself to be evil itself. So I like the idea of Singularity Jane. Maybe she's not actual Satan, or maybe she is the idea that spawned the stories of it.
Yeah, the inspiration of.
Yeah, but either way, she believes it, and I like that idea. So, and now,
that's cool.
I hope someone comes in because I don't think this is last. Like, yeah, it seems like they've dealt with her, but
I think she'll come back later. She's trapped in the power ring realm with all the fear stuff. So.
No reason we can't pull her out at some point.
Yeah, so she can come back later, but she's shell for now, and I think that's fine. I did laugh a little bit when the Justice League kind of like come out of her. When Simon reaches in and like pulls them all out. Just the concept of a double-page spread of the entire Justice League coming out of someone's mouth, and you actually have like Batman with his grapple out, and like Superman's flying out. So it's one of those two-page spreads. One of those two-page spreads. Of like the entire Justice League in motion, like flying off to like do something, but it's coming out of someone's mouth, and that really made me laugh.
It's a single page spread, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's a single page, whatever. I'm not looking at it.
Yeah, but it's blown up though.
It's a big piece of art. It's not just like one little panel. It's like a big thing.
No.
And it cracked me up because it just the concept of Batman grappling out of someone's mouth just really made me laugh.
That's fair. I did think it was a little weird that we bothered doing that with the Justice League, because it's like, they only went into her earlier this issue. And then, we'll rescue him now. It felt like we could have had some more time with that.
All right.
Yeah, to me it felt more like just to take them off the board rather than anything else. So it's all down to Jessica and like Constantine and Simon. Like it's just them.
I feel like it was just because it was in the same issue. I feel like it would have played better for me if that had been the last issue.
Okay, I can see what you're
take them off the board a little bit earlier.
I wouldn't have even just minded if they were all just sort of standing outside, not knowing what to do, and like
Yeah, like the idea. Well, they can't do anything. They were kind of off the board anyway. That's why they called in Constantine in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's just the idea that Jessica ended up really saving the day, or Simon and Jessica ended up really saving the day. Simon saved her, and then by sort of domino effect, she ended up saving everyone else by overcoming Jane and all the rest of it. No, I enjoyed the end of this arc. I like Jessica like finally kind of like dealing with all this stuff and having her moment. It was nice.
And she can still anxiety is a fight that people fight every day.
Yeah.
So she can still deal with it and it can still spike and whatnot, but she's learned to manage, and that's the best thing for her. And she's really grown as a character since Rebirth. Like, and I'm glad she's. I don't want to say the best thing to come out of Rebirth, but she's near the top.
Yeah, she's up there.
Her characters.
She's up there.
Yeah.
No, it was a solid conclusion to it. Art is again, it's sort of not necessarily standout amazing, but solid.
Right.
Works for the issue.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the run as a whole now? This is it.
This 14 issue one. I mean, I wish it was kind of longer. Like I felt like it was supposed to be longer, but for what was essentially a collection of like 3 arcs. I mean, I liked all of them mostly.
I think a lot of it.
The weakest one was maybe some of the places it went with the the daughter on the planet. Like some of the twists in that felt a little bit cheap.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I liked all the stuff with Balthunga, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I liked all that stuff with him.
Introducing Lady Jane.
Jane, and then the stuff with from I'm forgetting all these things. It's been too long now. The bounty hunter from Omega Men, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I had a blast with all that. So it was mostly been solid. Like I've liked most of it. It's weird that it ended up just being like a 14-issue run. Like you always kind of hope that when you like a writer on a book that it's going to be a sprawling epic.
I hope Zimmy's doing something.
I think it feels a bit of a sudden end to the run. I don't remember this arc felt like it was concluded, but it doesn't feel like that was the end of a run to me. It was like I feel like okay, there was an epilogue of sorts planned in the next 2 issues. Yeah,
now it's someone. I've got a sneaking suspicion though it's still going to be like working off of whatever Seeley had planned for it.
Quite possibly, because usually even though it's only been 3 arcs, there's been a lot of ideas introduced, and it would have been nice just to see some conclusions.
Because it's funny. You could almost say like you'd call it like a weird like sort of fill-in set of arcs right before the next big run starts. But the arcs have actually been doing really important stuff that's relevant to the characters.
That diminishes it a bit much.
So, but that's all. It'll stand. I mean, at least you'll fit it in one deluxe hardcover. I mean, that's your one.
That's true.
Your one bonus.
True.
So hey, and I think it'll stand as an important part of the Green Lantern's mythos for Jessica and Simon. But hey ho, here's seeing what Jurgens will end up doing. But
I really look forward to that.
Yeah, before we go, ratings. I'll go first, I guess. I think this. I'd probably give this an 8. I think this solid kind of slides in there for me. Matt.
I'm gonna give it 7.5. It was really good, but some things that are a little lacking, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah, for the record, like we typically read books we like, so that's why the ratings seem like they're all kind of in the upper numbers.
No, it's true because we dropped a lot of the ones that we don't like because otherwise
just wait for later, guys. I promise.
New issue 1s are where things might get wild with the numbers.
Yep.
Or the odd fill-in issues.
Just
things. Sometimes people have an off issue, and you just don't let if you look at, I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but talking about the Poison Ivy arc on Batman.
Half of Tomasi and Gleason's Superman run.
Right, it happens.
We would have seen some real dips with that. Cara, what's your rating?
Mine's a 7. It might have been a bit higher if this wasn't the end of the run, but judging it as that as well as just the end of an arc, I think it's a little bit unsatisfying to those points. So, but it's still pretty good.
That's fair. Alright, so we'll move on then to Batwoman number 15, Marguerite Bennett writing, Fernando Blanco on the art. First thing I want to say about this issue, Matt, is, we've been kind of like starting to feel a bit of a slog with Batwoman. We were questioning, do we keep going? And it was like, okay, we now know that issue 18 is going to be the last one, so we figured, we might as well. Especially if...
Just finish it.
Yeah, especially if week 3 is not getting too busy. I have to admit, I had a moment of doubt, because I started reading it, and I got to the 2nd page, and I went, oh shit.
Yeah.
Not a great issue then.
No, I've lost the wind. I'm still going to finish it, because it's not that far.
Yeah, 3 more issues.
3 more issues. Yeah.
But no, because pages 2 and 3 of this, because it sets up, okay, so what's the backstory with Alice, and it tells you with this 2-page layout of like old-timey like prose narration with like these old, almost reimagine it as if it's like a fairy tale with like Alice being like a princess in a castle, and it's big blocks of text, and it's like this, the old kind of night font, and I'm like, and
I get what they were doing is that they're giving the history of these two relationship to people that might not be that familiar, but like it's completely different than anything else in the book. Like there's other ways they could have done it.
I
think.
opened that page and I just sort of looked at the rest of the book just to double check, because if this was going to be something that came back every couple of pages, where there was going to be another 2 pages of this, I was going to like abandon it. But it was only the 2 pages, so I went, okay, I'll struggle through it. But I groaned when I saw those 2 pages. I was like, no. The rest of the book is, Alice is sent like the swarm of bats to Gotham to infect everyone, and Batwoman uses some sonar to like sort of bring them out and then blow them up, and that's her big sort of explosive ending. And then the cliffhanger is that she's sort of made up with Julia. Julia's helping her, but she's like, I'm sorry, I had to call him. And the ending's like Batman showing up to like sort of come in and do knows what next issue.
I just feel that it's going through the motions.
It does kind of feel like that. I feel like this. I think the island stuff was interesting for an arc, and then it's been dragged on for a long time, and now it's turned into, this is also to do with Alice and Beth now. Yeah,
I really liked when it was the Many Arms of Death, and she was almost like a James Bond type character taking on Spectre. Like, I liked that idea.
I had a lot of fun with that stuff.
Yeah, right? And then they just threw that all out to do this stuff that we've already done.
It's like, morphed into something else, and I don't think any of us are really into what it's... Because I like that stuff at the start. I really liked that issue with Professor Pig. That was like a standalone issue.
Yeah.
I dug that a lot, that one.
It's why I dropped it a few issues, because I realised this book isn't what I wanted. It's not what I started off reading. It's not what I was enjoying. It's just a different book now, whereas if you'd given me this as a new book, I wouldn't be reading it.
I find it infinitely more... interesting if it's not Alice. Like, if they try to use Alice against her, but she doesn't become Alice, and it is Safia and all this.
I think there's more great stories to tell with Alice. I think Alice is an interesting character to do things with. But I
feel every time they bring Batwoman up, it always has to be Alice.
That was the moment I tapped out, because I was like, the book was in a bit of a slump anyway, but I was okay. And then they went, oh, it's all Alice. I just went, right, forget it. I don't care anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, it's a shame, because I was really high in this for the first arc. I really loved a couple of the issues after that, but it's definitely been declining in my sort of patience with the last few issues.
Mine too.
But here we are. I'll keep reading. Unless week 3 gets really busy, we'll finish it out.
Yeah.
And see how it ends up. But I left this to last, and I got to that second page with all that text that's not traditional comic writing, and I just went, oh no. So I hope that was just a one-time thing. I hope that does not come back in the next 3 issues. I mean, even in a book that I'm really enjoying, nothing like makes me groan more than turning a page and getting prose. Like, no, it's a comic book.
There are some times where I'm really into it, depending on the writer.
Yeah.
Like if it's a writer who is good at prose, they can hook me in, and I'm down.
And this wasn't even full prose. This was more like a child's storybook.
Well, it's like a tapestry.
Yeah.
Yeah, with words on it, and it's fine. It reminded me of the twins, of Elder and what was it, Lesser, and or Elder and Younger, and the Many Arms of Death, and all the potential we had, and coming off of the the black market trade.
Yeah, because
of the Night of Monsters stuff.
Yeah, because the Many Arms of Death and Knife were really interesting at that point in time.
Yep.
And they've kind of lost a lot of that since. I mean, they're dead now, basically. I mean, the Knife's not, but the twins are. So kind of rough. I guess obviously it's just me and Matt that read this, so we'll just rate it. I mean, we've went along in a lot of the other books, so we can just make this one quick. I'm thinking like a 5 out of 10. That's how I kind of felt with this one.
I'm going 5.5. Because I think I enjoyed the pro stuff more than you did, and there's some cool the art, they do some cool layouts. There's that piece where Alice is explaining how to do diseases, and you don't do stuff super quick, because that's how you don't get it to spread, is you let it get into the system for a little bit first.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really cool, because it shows how the bats interact with everybody.
Yeah, she was basically saying you want the symptoms not to show until people have already infected others, and that's how you make it spread quicker. But or not quicker, but that's how you make sure it spreads to everyone.
Yep.
But so 5 out of 10 for me in this one. But hopefully it rebounds a little bit for its last few issues. But that will take us on to Aquaman number 36. Dan Abnett writing, Ricardo Federici on the art. and this is obviously continuing the assassination of King Wrath. Of course, there's a whole moral debate between Merc and Aquaman in this one, because they're kind of on their way. There's a nice little bit, actually. I was actually getting a crack out of the opening scene where Merc's pretending he's arrested Aquaman and he's bringing him in, and then Aquaman gets out of his restraints and they start fighting the guards, and I was cracking up because Merc was like, "Oh, how did that happen?
Oh no, what will we do?" And it's in the speech marks.
Yeah, it's good. I like that.
I love that Arthur finally tells him, like, "Look, you're a much better soldier than you're an actor, so there's enough of it."
It's just good stuff. But they have this moral debate. They're on the way to get to Wrath, and he's like, "No, we don't have to kill him, Mark. This is not an assassination. Like we restrain him. We put him through justice. Like this is what we do." Of course, they don't know at this point that he's already turned into a giant freaking monster.
But even this is where I find it hard to go with Arthur is he's completely, messed up Atlantis, like with all the Stark magic stuff. Sometimes you just gotta put a rabid dog down, like I don't know. I know something not expected from the Superman fan, but
I mean, I get the debate in context because Arthur still thinks there's a chance to just take him in peacefully, and
But we know there's not. It's beyond that.
Yeah, I guess that's it. We get the readers. Omniscience.
We have a bit more context.
Yeah, we know it's like a moot point because he's already like a giant monster who's going to kill everything. So they have to kill him.
But also Merc, like you're thinking, oh yeah, no, he wants to do what's best for Atlantis. But then he starts dropping some ethnic slurs there, calling him like Hadelin. And whatnot. Well, maybe not ethnic, but you know what I mean.
His prejudice towards the
social class.
Yeah. That starts to raise its head again, and and just kind of like, well, no. And that's what I like about Abnett's Atlantis. It is a super complex. It's not a cut and dry society.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a legit society.
I like this just quite a bit, actually. I felt like this was better paced than the last one. And obviously there was that fill-in issue that was terrible. So this really felt like back to like what I like about this run and what he's doing with all the Atlantis stuff. Because meantime, you've got Volko with the what are they called? The Widowhood. And you've got the one who's got a bit of an attitude, who's talking back to him, saying, "No, we should do this. We should try these things. There's these other magics we can try to take him on." So it leads back to the ghosts, in the chambers of Atlantis. The one who like Volko was talking to before, and she's like, "Oh, you want help? Don't know if we can do that."
I'd say that's probably my criticism with this arc, this issue but it is a criticism of the arc overall. Is this plot has kind of been very spaced out, like little snippets here, little snippets there. I feel like I'm not really getting enough of it in an issue to really get a grasp on what they're doing. It's much more like, oh, here's the next event and the next event. Whereas, with the main stuff with Arthur, I'm getting, okay, here's the motivations, here's the what's actually going on.
I wonder if he was told that he has to go up to this issue number, but he only had like X number of issues planned, so he's maybe stretching out a couple of the plot threads to last it. The art's really good though. I love because King Shark's with him. He's like they're arguing with the Widowhood, and Dolphin's there. She's the one who comes up with the plan to go see because that page where they actually get to the ghost is beautiful.
It is, yeah.
Yep.
Because the ghost looks great. It's like this, obviously this light, and then Dolphin's hands are lit up as well. So it's a really pretty page. It's the last page.
And
actually.
I really love.
No, I'm thinking about it.
I really love the supporting cast here.
Yeah.
From Volko to Dolphin to King Shark and Merc, like they're all. I always feel like that's a good sign of it's a sign of a good run, is where there's side characters that you really enjoy seeing.
I agree.
Like I feel like Jurok Biss, the keeper of the beast, like just the way that he talks and interacts with King Shark. Of course, they'd be friends because he's the keeper of the beasts. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys talked me back into to coming back, and it wasn't just the Sejic art. Abnett really went above. That Nemo stuff is still really like not good up until you got to the Aquamarine stuff. That was cool.
Yeah, there was a rough patch early on in the book, but once you got to the horror stuff in Atlantis with the monsters, and then you got to the Sejic sort of portion and this stuff. Because as much as I complained when we turned Wrath into a monster because it felt a bit generic, he does look great in this issue. When Aquaman's fighting him,
he does.
Once you give him to an artist who's matching the tone.
Yes. Because that 2-page spread of Aquaman, he's thingamajig. What do you call it? Trident.
Trident.
Yes.
Trident.
The word went through my head there.
Well, so some people call it a triton, and that's
No,
a
Triton is a god.
Yeah.
Roman god.
Yeah, I never called it that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Greeks Poseidon.
No. But some people do. Yeah.
But that's on fire,
Trident.
and he's like, he's strangling. His eyes are all lit up as if he's almost. And obviously that's the Trident that's doing that. But it's almost like Superman, like heat vision eyes, as he's coming after the monster. And the monster's got this cool purple hair, and it actually looks really cool. Like it's actually really nice. But no, I really like Undine. Ever since she's only been in a couple of issues, but they've done enough with her that I remember her as part of the Widowhood. Dolphin's been fun. King Shark, I actually kind of like him being down there calling everyone out in their shit.
Yeah.
No. I'm enjoying the Widowhoods and that group's their various slang curses. Triton's ass and Neptune's knickers.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm liking the.
I love that Neptune's knickers was like the worst.
I like the push and pull with the debate with them, where they're like, no, we can't use this magic, and no, we should use this, and like I like throwing like King Shark with Volko. And then Dolphin, who's not even speaking, like this is, I don't know. It's really, I think compared to the early on in the book, like I really like a lot of the supporting cast now.
Yeah.
So no, I had fun with this issue. I had fun. So we should rate it. Matt, you can go first this time.
Yeah, this is an 8 out of me. I really enjoyed this one.
Cool. Connor.
I give it a 7.5. Like I said, if just a little bit more time on the side plot. Would probably have helped.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling with this one because I feel like should I put it like where I'd above where I had Superman, but then I'm like, no, this like flew in for me. Like this was over before I knew it. Which I mean that as a compliment. Like it just it flowed right through me. That wasn't a water pun, but you take it as you wish.
Usually it's only Taco Bell that flows right through me, but hey. So
I think I'll actually agree with Matt in the 8. I think I'll I think this was a solid issue. So no, hey, that's Aquaman, which will take us on to the Brave and the Bold, Batman and Wonder Woman #4. Liam Sharp doing everything. I dropped this after the last issue. I wasn't feeling it, but you two guys like it, so you can talk about this one.
Oh man, here's my one takeaway. Always, it takes me so long to read this because I have to start cross-referencing Celtic myths. So,
do you know what? This issue made me realize. You know how you have various writers do their take, their version of a mythology. Where we had Neil Gaiman do the Norse mythology book. Yeah, Stephen Fry did a Greek mythology book.
Yep.
This is Liam Sharp doing. Hey, I want to do a Celtic mythology book. Like to the point where he's just like, I just want to tell that story. I don't want to do my own version anymore. I just want to tell a Celtic myth.
Yeah.
And I am 100% down for that.
Oh man, so I feel like he could have done it without Batman and Wonder Woman because they kind of take a backseat to this issue, or in this issue.
They do, which is why I say they're just kind of witnessing the story unfold at this point. And like I say, they're the vehicle for the myth essentially, just as an excuse for him to tell the story.
Yeah, and it's I feel like when we get to the end, it's just going to be a cycle that restarts because it's Batman piecing it together. But I don't think there's anything he's going to be able to do to stop it.
No, I agree because what this issue is last issue we had them get attacked and they would the other and it was okay, what's actually going on here? And let's go and sort out who's been involved in these raids. So they go to the castle. They talk to the wife of the one who was murdered.
Yep.
And it's a gorgeous Gothic castle that Wonder Woman refers to as Gotham by the Sea to make Batman feel comfortable there.
Yeah.
And we basically just have her go, right, this is what happened. This is who my husband was. This is our history and where we are. And it goes back again telling us how they forget everything every couple of centuries. It just kind of fades. So there's this, but they wanted to remember this story. So they commissioned these paintings, this wall of paintings to tell the story, so that they'd always remember.
Yeah.
And
so even if they don't know the context, they'll know this was important, and that's kind of how the history goes, right? That's myths and legends, and you get the story of the Fomorians coming together with the Dadonin over the Sea Fomorians, which it cracks me up that there's no other name for them. They're monsters of the sea, and they're going to be led by Balor. And then you have the current king of the Dadonin, Fionn McCall, and I know enough from reading that they're going to. This isn't over until they meet.
Right.
You know, so and it's all there, and you get the story of King Nuada.
Yes.
And how much he meant to man, who's the Fomorian king? I forget. It's hard to keep these names straight.
It is because she's Elata.
Yeah, so I looked it up, and there's a lot of pronunciations for that or Enya. So I don't know which one it is, but I'll take Elata.
Sure.
Oh, it's King Elata. That's what it was, and I think
Yes.
it's King Elata, and then she's Enya. So there we
You're
go.
right. Yes.
Yeah, and I like how he draws her bigger, like because she is, she was a Dadonin, but she married the king of the Fomorians.
Yeah. She towers over even Wonder Woman.
Yep,
Like
and
Wonder Woman's not even up to her shoulder.
yep, and so you get this story of King Nuada and how he fought the Sea Fomorians and really made Elata proud, and then he died in a battle. And he ended up having the silver arm, right? Like that was given to him because he lost it in a previous battle.
Yeah, that was one of the first of the paintings is him losing the arm.
Yeah,
it was taken by Balor.
So yeah, that's right. And so they end up going to his tomb, and Batman's looking it over, and he picks up the stone. What's that called? The Hagstone.
Hagstone. Yes.
And looks at it, and he goes, "That's not the silver arm. That's missing."
Yeah, it's just an illusion that it's there. So that's the thing here. Someone has stolen the silver arm of the king, and that's where we'll go into it. We're going, okay, why have they done this? What do they want of this? That's like their most sacred relic.
Yep, and it keeps going. And early on, you had Fionn McCall arguing with the Fomorians.
Yes.
The guards about all this. They did it on purpose, and by the end of this issue, it looks like the Fomorians and the Dadonin are going to war, and that's probably all Balor's doing. And
I'm sure it is Balor and Breas, who we learn about in this story, and
Breas.
forward to see how he comes into it.
Yeah, so I just once Balor shows up and that evil eye, that I feel like Tolkien took the Eye of Sauron from.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait for that because there's a really good Myths and Legends podcast about Fionn McCall versus Balor. It's a really fun
great
story.
podcast. But this is, like I say, Batman, Wonder Woman. They take a backseat. They are doing they're doing the detective work, and they're uncovering the story, and that's how we experience it. We're just experiencing them uncovering it. I feel like they will have very little impact in the plot itself. It'll be down to the individual races to sort out amongst themselves ultimately. Yeah,
I feel like it's going to be Wonder Woman being able to talk whoever down, and then Batman using his reasoning, like
to put the explanation
to settle. Yeah, because we know that the Dadonin and the Fomorians are going to have to come together to fight the Sea Fomorians. So, and Balor. So I feel like they're going to be the unifying, because I feel like the undercurrent of this arc or the series is unity, and whatever is going on in Gotham, which I'm still not certain on, because there's just that weird dude walking around.
He looks like a sea god the way he steps out.
Yeah. So do you think he's Breas?
Quite possibly.
Yeah. So however that goes, it's all going to come together. I'm really enjoying that. The art is gorgeous. Like, you can tell that Sharp's taking a lot of time, because a lot of those paintings look like paintings. Like,
Sharp's always excellent, but this might be the best work I've ever seen from him. And that is like one of those paintings where it's going over the sea. You got the one with their version of hell.
Yep.
It's just incredible. Like, it's something else. And it makes me excited just to read this, just for his art, if nothing else.
Yep. I saved this one for last. Well, listen, Batman. Because it's so. Yeah. I'm really enjoying this, and I'm gonna have to pick up the hardcover when it comes out.
Yeah, me too. I hope they do an oversized one just to really show that.
To take in the art. Yeah. So what would you rate this?
I gave this an 8.5. But you?
Okay. Yeah, me too. 8.5. So it's it's really good.
It is.
And for the visual folk watching this on YouTube, you got cameos from two different cats during that review. You got Firefly and Wesker.
So are they Dadonin or are they Fomorian?
One of each.
What side do they line up on?
don't know what that means, Matt.
Of course not. I was all excited. It makes me sound like I know another language, even though just trying to read Celtic or Gaelic, it hurts my brain.
Oh, I hate it. Hate it. We stopped using it for a reason, god damn it. Alright, well, that'll take us on to New Challengers #1, the latest in the New Age of DC Heroes line. This is Scott Snyder, although it's not just Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder apparently only did the plotting, because Aaron Gillespie, who we mentioned earlier is going to be doing the next 2 Green Lanterns issues, is also credited as a writer. So I'm assuming that it's Snyder's plot, and then he came in and...
even before we get to anything in the issue,
go on.
I think the most interesting thing about this book to me is that the writers are credited first.
Oh, really?
Instead of the artist, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
which is unlike all the other books.
Yeah, for relevance, that's because that's not normally weird. It's only weird in this sense because the rest of this line have been artists first.
I should say, the art still got the title credit on the cover. But just on the credits itself in the book, it says writers and pencils rather than what has traditionally for this has been the storytellers, and they've got the joint credit for this line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna not bury the lead, and it's because the art's not that great. This is not great Kubert work, so
it's not awful. It's fine.
It felt a little bit
in a line. Yeah,
it felt a little bit New 52 to me. Was my main problem with the art, but I didn't hate it. It wasn't bad art necessarily.
I mean, I think a problem with some oversized lips on here and there, but I don't hate it. It's fine. It's perfectly serviceable.
Outside of the Terrifics, this entire New Age of Heroes feels New 52. Like you call it the New 52 Age of Heroes. Like,
I don't think that's fair on all of them.
Well, the ones I read,
definitely Immortal Men and Damage kind of had that feel. I mean, I'm digging Sideways, and I like Silencer quite a bit. I don't know if
I think Silencer, because I don't know if it is just the art, but Romita Jr. is so not a New 52 style that established the tone of that book that it didn't feel anything like it.
Same with the Terrifics. If you look at I can't keep track of the art on Terrifics, but that's not New 52 either. And Rockefort, I mean, he did a lot of New 52, but that book, from what Pete's been describing, doesn't sound like a New 52 book. It feels like it could fit in. Like, if they're just like, this is our new hero, born from the pages of metal, it would have been fine.
I mean, I can see describing Sideways and making it being like a New 52, because maybe it'd fit into the Young Justice. Like, do you remember how they had dissections?
Yeah.
Back
it
in
also would be fine
next to the Blue Beetle book that they had.
Yeah, it also would have been fine in Rebirth if it wasn't, instead of Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
So, it would have been fine.
Joe, it's funny because before I give my opinion on this, I want to point out that I'm seeing a lot of different buzz online. I'm seeing a lot of people online who have said this is the best of the New Age Heroes books. They like this the most. I have to ask what the hell those people are smoking, because I did not really like this that much, if at all.
I'm going to outright say this was terrible. This might be the worst thing I've read in 2018.
Connor disagrees. I'm seeing Connor's face.
I don't love it. By no means do I think it is the best of this line.
Yeah.
But I think it's all right. I don't hate it at all.
I don't do I think it's the worst? What else have we had?
Brimstone. Damage.
Okay, Brimstone.
Even Damage, though.
No,
I
like Brimstone more than this.
Really?
I didn't read Brimstone.
So sorry, you guys are gonna have to talk me through this, because I don't see an amazing book here, but I don't see a bad book.
I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but I just by the end of this issue, I feel like they've done nothing to sell me on what this book is, who these characters are. I feel no connection to any of them.
Don't care. I don't care about any of the mysteries. Like, I started reading Sideways, and I need to get back to it, but I started reading Flash instead. Right? So I went back at the side. I want to read more Sideways. Okay? This,
good, Matt.
And that's a lot to do with Pete talking and so there you go.
Honestly, the running gag that he keeps accidentally maiming villains is like the best running joke in comics right now.
Yeah. And I'll get there once I finish this first book of The Flash. I'll get back to Sideways. But in here, I don't care about any of these new characters. I don't care about this new Challengers Mountain. So coming into this, I had a vague touchstone with the new Challengers. Like, I had known they're essentially the, I don't want to say Fantastic Four because that's kind of Terrifics, but like they serve the purpose of Fantastic Four. They see something that's going on strange in the world, and they go to meet it head on. You know, they touched on this in the phenomenal New Frontier from Darwin Cook. Like, anytime something weird was happening, this group called the Challengers would come in and try to fix it. Here, they completely flip that over, and they add some weird hourglass thing to them, like timestamp, that I don't understand.
I didn't have a problem with that. I quite like that concept of, like, you know, okay, you're dead, but here you go, you've got an hourglass where
I don't necessarily,
out in the real world you have until it runs out.
Yeah, I don't necessarily dislike that as a concept. My problem with this issue, well, I have a few problems. One is that I don't feel like I get to really know who the characters are. There's one character gets like a flashback to like what was happening with her in Gotham right before she came here, but the rest of them I don't get any sense of. I couldn't tell you any of their names. Like, I don't remember any of their names.
Either, but I think it's slightly unfair to say that's the only character that gets something, because we start off with one of them before they get to the mountain in the plane.
Yes.
You know, that's the start.
Yeah, but that's not one of the main characters though, because that character is that character that gets dumped out the plane. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that they don't show up here.
Yeah, that's not one of them.
But I think, you know, that's, like I'm saying, you know, it's not the only thing that we get a flashback of. We're getting other things.
Well, that's actually the other complaint I have, is that I think this issue overdoes the that's before, now, 3 minutes ago. Like, it does a little bit too much jumping around in the time, when I don't necessarily think it needed to do that.
And like, they try to tie it into DC continuity, not continuity, but the creative DC universe with adding a Spiral guy, and I was like, okay, cool. I know Spiral. Like,
yeah, that's fine. That's a fine idea.
Yeah, and then they kill him like 2 pages later because he wants to go back. And I understand you have to set the stakes with the hourglass thing, like they can't leave.
In the rules.
Yeah, do you know what? That's my other big problem, is that I don't think this issue does enough to actually clearly like, I feel like instead of feeling like it's an introduction to this concept, it's lots of exposition just quickly in there, because it feels like it needs to get through it all very quickly. I feel like, no, you introduce the core ideas so that they're not overwhelming, and then add to it in future issues. I think it jams too much in. And honestly, that whole thing with like having him die to sort of prove that like what's going on, that is very Suicide Squad. It
is.
It's very here's the here's the 7th Suicide Squad member. Here's Slipknot, who's just here to show that the bomb in the neck's going to work. Like
I did think that myself as well. But
why do that with the Spiral guy? Like, you know, like.
I think that's the point. I assume that's the point anyway. Of, hey, you know this one, so you assume they're the safe. Well, I mean, you don't know him personally, but you know Spiral, so you assume they're safe.
Yeah, but even then, I was just kind of like the way he was acting automatically. I was just like, well, no, he's expendable. Like, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna make those DC's Expendables, like, that would be cool. You know, like. They took it in a direction I'm just not a fan of. I wanted this to go the pulpy.
Yeah, you were thinking
Challenge
pulpy.
Of the Unknown. Yeah, and instead I got this weird sci-fi one that I don't care about anything in here.
I think for me is I agree it's overwritten and a lot of exposition. The thing is, I like what the concepts are. Like I like, as you know, Matt's like, oh, I didn't really want that in the book. For me, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm down for those ideas once we get into the storytelling. So it makes this not a particularly good issue on its own right, but as a proof of concept, I feel like well enough.
Yeah, but I feel like they saw this issue and went, okay, this is only a mini. I don't think we can get much more out of this.
Yeah,
it feels like a very fuzzy concept.
I don't think when they pitched this originally, and when they were all announced, this was not announced as a mini. That's something that's just happened recently, and I feel like that was a choice that was made somewhere along the way.
I agree, but I don't think it's based on the quality of the narrative. I think that was Snyder saying, "I'm too busy. I can, you know, I
don't though, because I feel like he initially had a different idea with what we had in Metal. Like, if you're talking about those challengers where you had Carter Hall and Shayera, or not, what was her name? Kendra. You had Kendra and all that, and then the mountain disappeared, and this doesn't even really pick up on any of those ties. Like it's just a mountain in the Rockies.
We have this shady character who's kind of running the place, and he has that same sort of object that the villain with the bandages at the start was going after.
Yeah.
That could be him, but I don't know. The cover implies that guy's got a really, messed up face. Yeah. So I'm assuming it's not. But like, I don't know. I'm not feeling that character. I'm not feeling the mysteries. It had that very kind of forced first issue, very New 52 feeling to me, and I don't know, I have no interest in reading any more of this, I have to be honest.
Me neither.
I get that other people like it. I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying they like this, and this is one of the favourite New Age books. That's great, I'm glad you like it, but damn, I
don't understand it, but cool, it I'm glad.
No, that's fair enough. Like I said, I don't think it's an amazing issue, but I like the concepts it's establishing enough that I probably won't read it monthly, but since it's only 6 issues, I think I will grab the trade and read through it all. For
me, when you've got a team of like 5 or 6 characters going into like these, like, you know, fighting these giant monsters and stuff, I need to like get the team vibe from those characters. I need to like instantly feel like we're building a sort of like family or team book between them, and I don't get that at all from any of these characters.
No, I agree. It's not doing that, but I think for me, it's going the other route and taking, okay, here's the concept, here's the plot, and the characters here almost don't matter, right? They're just, okay, these are the ones we've got right now.
I don't think the plot's interesting enough to justify doing that. I think you can do that when it is a plot-first book or a plot-first story.
I don't know. We don't know what the plot exactly is yet, but the concepts it's establishing, the rules, I quite like. And
I don't know why this leader guy set them out in a life raft in the middle of a thing for a monster to take them out. Like, I don't get any of that. Like,
yeah, because of course one thing we didn't mention is that they all appear here because they all basically just died. They're all here in borrowed time. That's why they have this hourglass when whenever they leave the mountain, their time runs out. But when they're inside the mountain, they're kind of fine. They're in, like, you know, a paradox essentially. You're fine here.
Yeah, it's incentive to finish your missions quickly.
Yeah. For me, there was just no hook. Like, I got to the end of it, I'm like, oh, there's nothing here that wants me. I don't have any interest in coming back for any more of this. So, hate to be super negative, but
halfway through this book, I got angry.
I don't know if I ever got angry. I think you hated it more than I did, Matt, but I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it.
Snyder did do the Shadow, right? He had the Batman Shadow?
That was Snyder and Orlando.
Okay. I'm just checking for these older concepts, so I don't know whether to blame Snyder or Gillespie on this one.
I assume with the Shadow, Snyder plotted similar to here and Orlando scripted. I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
So I again here Snyder's script plotted and Gillespie has scripted that. So I don't know if you blame him, say Snyder, for saying, you know, he should have done more to.
Joe, I get from this in terms of feeling. I feel like this has kind of just been shot out because some work was done on it, and we have to kind of make it feel like it was worth doing. But it's kind of this weird, it's just there because it's been started, so it's just getting out there. I feel like it's been kind of forgotten. The whole line in general kind of feels like that, where it's like, at first it's like, oh, there's all these big things coming out of metal, we're going to build to all these things, and it kind of feels like, okay, a couple of the books will stick around because they're just good and they're on their own, they're fine. But it does kind of feel like, oh, we made this big push, so we'll put them all out, but we're kind of already given up on half of them.
No, that's true.
And this one kind of, I mean, they kind of admitted it with this one, by saying, oh, this is a 6-issue miniseries now.
Like I said, I think that one's that was all announced before Snyder was taking over Justice League and all of that, and I think he started working on Justice League, and like, I'm too busy to do this. Here's my outline for an arc.
Yeah,
and handed that over to someone.
That may be the why. But ultimately, the end result is this issue wasn't doing it for me.
Fair enough.
And clearly not Matt either, because Matt, what are you rating that?
Oh, this is easily a 2.
Oh, jeez. This is going really low. I don't know if I'd go quite that harsh. I'd say this is more like a 4 for me.
No. So I just, to double check challengers, the whole living on borrowed time wasn't a literal thing for the original challengers. It was because they all survived a plane crash. They all felt like they were living on borrowed time, and they wanted to pass that forward. So that's why they volunteered to go on these different missions. So while I appreciate this is called the New Challengers, and they're trying to do something new, just not, man, because I was so excited for this. Because we all know how I feel about pulpy, adventure-y things. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for more pulpy sci-fi, fighting monsters and whatnot.
Yeah.
What are you giving it, Connor?
I'm giving it a 5.5. It's not a good issue, but I like the concepts enough that I will read it as a trade.
All right, okay. Well, that leaves us with one final book. Connor, because of Connor's Corner, one of our Patreon tiers. People, if you're a patron, you can pay the $30 tier, which lets you select one comic that Connor has to read for the month. Of course, someone for the 100th episode decided to buy out all 4 slots for the month, so he's got a Red Hood for 4 weeks in a row. So this is the second of that. This is Red Hood and the Outlaws number 19. Scott Lobdell writing and Marcio Takara on the art. It is worth mentioning someone has got the combo slot now with my version of Connor's Corner, Peter's pick or lack thereof. So I'll be forced to read something next month. I don't know what it is yet though. I'm waiting on the word, but you know.
I told you what you guys need to do.
Stay tuned. They can think of something.
I think it's pretty clear that you should make him read some new challenges.
No, don't do that because I don't want to hear about this. No.
Hey, no.
Don't.
I'll go back to this. A good book for me is even more punishment for Connor.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Because it'll upset you. I'll be upset that they're making me read something good. Anyway, Red Hood the Outlaws, number 19.
Fine. I suppose I can't put it off any longer.
Alright, just talk about Red Hood, man, because I somewhat now look forward to this. Just hearing what's going on.
Is Brainiac still an intellectual Fraser Crane type? Is that where we're still at?
I assume you mean Bizarro.
Oh, I said Brainiac. That's no justice on the brain, sorry. Bizarro, yes.
He is mostly, but I'll get to that. So this issue is date night. So you have Jason and Artemis going on a date.
Was this the February issue, I assume?
Oh, sweet.
I mean, I don't know, you work it out. 19. We're on 22, I think. So maybe, yeah,
sounds about
probably.
right. Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. And it's basically, they go around the town for a little bit, have some fun, and then they using the magic door teleport thing. You nearly made me do it then. Bizarro is watching them. He's spying on them, like on their every word. And I'll get back to that in a minute. But ultimately, they go to the Batcave and they vanish off his radar because he can't see into the Batcave because thankfully that's protected enough.
So you can't watch them bump the nasties.
His door can teleport to the Batcave, no problem, but you can't watch into it. And he actually writes it off as that. He goes, well, I mean, they are on a date after all. Maybe I should give them some privacy. But ultimately, what it is they know Bizarro's watching them, and come here so that they can communicate, and then go, hey, I think something's wrong with Bizarro. He's being a bit weird. He's getting more powerful every day. Maybe he has a plan, but can we afford to take that risk?
This is weird flirty talk to get you in the mood for sex, I have to say. This is bizarre. Oh, you make Matt, you make.
One of the whole thing is Jason's going, so this whole date thing was totally bogus. And she corrects it and says, mostly bogus. I'm like, okay, fine. But, their plot doesn't really amount to much. It's more just, it's, okay, it's confirming they are questioning what's going on with Bizarro and whether or not they need to intervene. The Bizarro stuff is more interesting, a bit more fun. You have him in his kryptonite baths, his synthetic kryptonite baths, and he's got his little Superman doll. He's put some little goggles. The one in his mind has some little goggles on. He's swimming around next to him. It's adorable. And but it has its, how like people have like a rubber duck. It has its own little rowing boat that it's floating around on. And Brainiac's like, oh, just when he's talking about spying on them, he's like, it's fine. I'm just taking. God damn it! You've made me do it. You cut it on my brain.
I love how you did that. You kept going. I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice you did that there.
You've ruined it. You've popped it in my head, and now it's just it's there.
So Brainiac's got a rubber ducky, right? Okay.
Yeah. So Bizarro's he's saying, "Oh no, I'm just taking precautions. It's fine. Don't read too much into it." And the little pup, as it's called, is like, "Hey, listen to yourself. You're being paranoid. You're talking to a little stuffed doll," and. So Bizarro goes, oh, shut up, and he splashes all the kryptonite, and he fists down into the water, and the boat's going flying. You've got the little pop-up going, doll overboard. This is pretty The stuff with the little doll's not bad. It's harkening back to that one really good bit of this run where Bizarro. They were in Bizarro's head. All the heroes were the little cutesy versions.
Right.
It's harkening back to that stuff.
I think your mics went up in volume, by the way. Just before you go on any monologues.
But
Why does it do that? It's
Bizarro is desperate not to waste the synthetic kryptonite that he just splashed out of the bath with that, and gets down and starts licking it off the floor, which is obviously weird. But there's he gets a spike. Something's going on in Gotham, so he goes down in a disguise. He's got a big trench coat and a hat on.
And of course he does.
There's a dude there who seems to have 3 faces. It vibrates between like 3. He's got one face in the middle that's regular, and then like 2, like one on either side. It's kind of like a vibrating thing, like he's moving his head really quick. And Bizarro does think he's 3 people, but he's not. He says he's one called Solitary. I'm not familiar if he is anyone.
No,
doesn't sound. No.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to say, I'm imagining, you said the hat and the trench coat. I'm just imagining Raphael from the first Turtles movie.
Me too.
That's what I'm got in my head right now.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're in the ballpark. And this guy is basically says he's been watching Bizarro because he knows about him licking that stuff up off the floor, and Bizarro, he's like, oh, you think you got what you'd stop me? He says absolutely, and then he passes out, and it's 20 minutes later, and Red Hood and Artemis are here and are dragging him back, going, hey, it's all right, I guess, and you just get that monologue going, guess we should do something about this. It's kind of a waste of an issue in the sense that it's basically exactly where we were the issue before, except the only new thing is that they've gone, maybe we should do something about him. And I am annoyed because we are no longer in the Bizarro arc, whatever that was called, and
right.
This is still he's not reset at the end of the arc like I thought he was going to. We're still doing it. It's been dragged out longer, which is very frustrating.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Connor. Someone tweeted at me, like when you were complaining about the Smart Bizarro stuff, like when it first started. Maybe like after a couple issues of it, someone tweeted saying, "Yeah, he's got a long time before like we're back to regular." Because I think at that point he was still Smart Bizarro in the comics.
I mean, he might still be for all I know. I don't know.
Well, you'll find out. You're going to be almost caught up at the end of this month.
Don't remind me. But art's not bad. Takara's been solid whenever it's shown up. We've seen him a few times over the last year or so.
Yeah, on various books. It sort of comes in and fills in here or there.
Yeah. But it's solid. Especially when they're doing the cutesy stuff with the doll. That is definitely the highlight. But,
okay.
Some interesting layouts as well. To be fair, when you've got Bizarro in the bath, you got the overlaying of him watching all their stuff, and the way it's overlaid is an interesting layout. So I'll give it that.
Hey Matt, his favourite scene in this issue was the Bizarro bath scene. That's why I point
cool.
that out.
I understand that. I mean, we all have our thing.
Yeah.
Look.
So I just looked up the Solitary character, and apparently goes back to Red Hood and the Outlaws #6. So
I don't even
on this run or the New 52
on this run.
Okay.
Nope, on this run.
All right.
So,
This is just shoddy Connor stuff.
Do you know what's particularly weird about this? That's not referenced is there's when they're on their date, Artemis orders some drinks, but she doesn't order. She just orders Jason a soda, and he's like, "Hey, I can handle my drink," and she's like, "No, we know you can't." And it goes, "Hey, remember Red Hood and the Outlaws issue 6? There are consequences to drinking liquor." And so it reminded me of that issue, but there is no tag whatsoever with Solitary.
Of course.
Which is particularly strange, I think. I don't know who's making that call. Presumably the editor, but
yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But you got Bizarro bath scenes. You got a romantic date with Red Hood and Artemis. I don't know. You got a lot of things.
I found myself having to reread a lot of the dialogue on the date because it was really just pointless, cutesy dialogue between them. I'm like, what's going on here? Why are we doing this? I don't know.
His misery feeds me.
Yeah. Oh, there's one scene of Luther watching some cameras of Bizarro in action.
Okay. All right.
It doesn't really do anything. It's one page where we cut to his office at LexCorp. He's there on a chair watching some stuff. It's like, oh, you're quite the clever one, Bizarro. And that's it. Nothing else for the rest of the issue.
Well, I guess it's setting up that Luthor's going to be involved.
Yeah, but we'd already kind of set that up in the last few issues with Luthor being involved with Bizarro, so it kind of feels redundant in this issue. I don't know what the purpose of it is here.
But you'll find out in issue 20, maybe. Next week. Red Hood.
Yeah.
All right.
Exciting. All right, well, I guess that wraps that up then.
I'm done.
Yeah. Actually, do you want to rate it? I suppose you should rate that as well.
I mean, if I'm rating that, it's probably a 4. Art pulls it up a bit.
Okay. All right.
As is often the case on this book, to be fair.
All right. Well, that does take us on to doing our end of episode stuff, which is picking our favourite artists, favourite panel/moment, favourite cover, and our top 5 books of the week. Which is interesting because this is where everyone critiques us, where we put our books in a different order than they should be numerically based on the ratings. But sometimes that just happens. So that's what we're going to do. So panel/moment, Matt, what you got for us?
Oh, easily, it's the appearance of Viril Docs. I'm gonna start swapping.
So I want to just say Brainiac 2.
Yeah, Brainiac 2.
Brainiac 2. I think that, yeah.
Because I wasn't expecting him, and then Pete even was like, "Oh, he's gonna be excited when he gets to the end of No Justice."
Yeah, and then you assumed that I didn't understand who this was. You were like,
"Yeah,
Peter, that's not Brainiac 5." I'm
why
like,
else?
I know.
It's not like you knew that I liked Rebels. Like, I don't talk about Rebels.
You know you're a continuity wonk.
I just assumed another Brainiac of any kind would have been relevant for you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, it's something from No Justice, I'm sure, but I'm trying to narrow it down as to what. I'm heavily tempted to go with the first shot of the Omega Titan on Kolu. That first panel on that second page or third page it is. It's just the atmosphere, the scale, the size. I dig it. I dig it a lot. So either that or arguably one of the Starro quips at some point. But I think that's what I'm going with. Connor.
Yeah, that was one of my options. That was probably my first thought, was the Kolu, the first shot there. But instead, I'm going to go from Batman. Is right at the end, the reflection in the visor. And the way it parallels back to the start of the arc, I think is fantastic.
Yeah, hard to dispute that one. I also like when he's on the last page cleaning his visor. He's actually trying to clean it.
Yeah. Like even though it's already clean.
Yeah. I dig that one quite a bit. So best cover of the week. There's
a few do you know what? This is a week where there's like 2 Cedric covers as well.
Yeah. Cedric cover on Green Lanterns is spectacular. Also, I don't know if I'd pick it, but a shout out to the fun cover, the variant for Batman, which is all the different versions.
Is that Amanda Connor? Yeah.
In the movie theater, just a really fun idea. So fun concept for a cover. Because sometimes you pick it purely just to how good the art is, but sometimes it's just a really fun idea for a cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that one falls into there. What else have we got? I'm just looking at them.
The Aquaman variant is gorgeous.
That's quite nice. I'm trying to look at different variants, so that I'm seeing them all, so I'm making an informed decision.
Yeah.
Did Superman not have one?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough. I'm trying. Where is it? Try to find it. I guess not. Then, ignore me. No, I think I have to go with Green Lanterns. Actually, I think just purely on a visual level, the Green Lanterns one.
The regular cover.
The regular one, yeah.
No, that's nice.
It's really nice. That said, though, the variant's also really pretty.
It is. Yeah, you get 2 good covers on that one.
Yeah, because you've got the sort of black and white bodies, but then you've got almost the Green Lantern ghosts coming from the 2 lanterns. That's actually really... You know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm going with the variant.
There you go.
That variant's nice.
You talked yourself into it.
They're both fantastic. I think Green Lanterns wins in covers this week just by having both of those. You got a pick, Matt?
Yeah, mine's the Batman Wonder Woman Brave and the Bold. I just love
that's fair.
Yeah, the way that it's composed. It's split down the middle.
It's split down the middle with the sword, and it is a fantastic cover.
What's your final pick?
I I'm gonna go with the Aquaman variant. I'm a sucker for these Middleton variants right now.
Oh yeah, Middleton's doing some good stuff. All right, so best art of the week then. So we have the combo in No Justice, which obviously I think will be up there. Tony Daniel and Batman, I think, has to be up for grabs. Liam Sharp, I assume for you two, is going to be in contention.
Honestly, it's Liam Sharp, no question.
Yeah.
It's his best ever work.
I want to give it to the combo for No Justice, but no, Sharp is those paintings of the.
It's above and beyond, isn't it?
I think obviously I didn't read that, so for me it probably is No Justice. But I want to say Aquaman's pretty close. Aquaman was a really solid. Yeah, Federici in that issue was really good. So I want to give that a mention, even though I think I'm going with No Justice overall. All right, so top 5 books of the week then. So Connor, you can jump in first with this.
Okay, so I'm going in with Brave and the Bold at 1. I think the Superman special at 2. Then No Justice, Batman, Aquaman.
Cool,
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah, so mine, Batman, number 1, just booster, being broken, also me being broken. They go hand in hand. Number 2 is No Justice. Number 3 is Brave and the Bold. Number 4 is Superman. Number 5 is Aquaman.
Cool. My number 1 is No Justice. My number 2 is Batman. My number 3 is Aquaman. Number 4 is Green Lantern. Number 5 is Superman. I didn't miss anything, did I? No, that's
I think so.
yeah. I'll just make sure it's not an obvious one that I've glossed over. But no. Batwoman wasn't in contention. New Challenger certainly wasn't in contention. So, I didn't read Brave and the Bold. So there you go. That is our top 5. That does sort of bring an end to episode 104 of Comics from the Multiverse. I do have to tell you what's coming next week, though.
Yep.
So obviously we have Justice League No Justice number 3. We have Detective Comics 981, the final issue of Tynion and the Force run. So you can look forward to that. Wonder Woman 47 next week, Matt. I know we have to. Hey, at least in the bright side, Matt.
Supergirl's on the cover.
Supergirl's on the cover. On the subject of Wonder Woman, the variant for number 48 is fantastic. I don't know if you've seen this, Matt.
That's very good, but I want to mention now because I won't remember next week. But probably the best variant for next week is the Hellblazer one, the Sean Phillips. It is incredible.
Sure. But the Wonder Woman variant for 48 is it's got Hawkgirl, Supergirl, and Jessica Cruz on the cover with her. It's just good stuff. It may be my new phone background, that's all I'm saying. So we got Wonder Woman 47, we got Flash 47 next week, start of Flash War, also big. So we get the end of Tynion's run, and we got the start of Flash War, big stuff. The final issue of Hope Larson's run in Batgirl. So we got that going. We got Terrifics number 4. Me and Cora have got Silence number 5. Me and Matt have got Queen of Atlantis number 4. You two have Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps number 45. Also out next week, but none of us will be covering, I don't think, is Batman Beyond 20, Hellblazer 22, and Suicide Squad 42. So that's what's coming next week, unless there's been delays and stuff that I've not accounted for.
I'm not seeing anything. I'm just scanning. Obviously, you don't do alphabetical order, so it's harder to track them all.
No.
I think you got it all.
Silence. You said Silencer 5, right?
Yep.
He did,
Yeah.
So that's what's coming next week. So it's another big week next week. I mean, not necessarily a giant number of books, but there's quite a few notable, ends and beginnings in there for things.
No, there is. Yeah.
So that'll be fun stuff. So that's what's coming up next week, and I suppose this is the time of the show where we do a little bit of self-promotion and plug and tell you to go to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV and check out all the stuff that's on offer. Because obviously you can support the show by going over there and putting in a $1 or more. Obviously it helps us out more than the ads, but of course just watch ads on YouTube if you want to help that way, or like and subscribe and comment and all the usual things. Let us know what you thought of the books. We're still promoting the stuff that's on there because there's some new things there that weren't there before. Obviously we mentioned Connor's Corner. There's also the Peter's Pick or lack thereof, which is my equivalent of that, where you can pay to make me read something. We do have a combo pack of both of them, but someone's taken the one slot of that already, so that's why you'll be getting me reading something next month against my will. But of course there's also the monthly episode, which there is a vote up. The vote actually ended yesterday, and I've not checked who won. I should do that just now and tell you.
Yeah, you should.
I really should do that.
I'd like to know as well.
You should.
This is the Superman origin vote, right?
Yes. So obviously there's a monthly bonus episode that me and Connor do. We'll take a trade or a collection of some kind and talk about that. And there was a vote this month for this one. So That's what I'm just checking what the winner is right now. So you've got that. You've also got Peter's Pillbox, which is something I do 3 times a week, where I'm working through multiple series and talk about them. It's an audio-only show. You can check out the first New Teen Titans episode of that for free, and that will be free for everyone after about a month of exclusivity. And then the other 2 series, which is Mark Waid's Flash Run and the Silver Age stuff, which I've started with Green Lantern, is in the $3 and $5 tiers. So you can check out all that stuff. A lot of stuff on offer at Patreon, so it's worth looking. But the winner of the vote for this month's monthly is, in fact, by 1 vote, Superman Birthright. And what's funny here is that everything got at least 1 vote, and it's very spread out. Like, you know, someone likes all. Every one of these has their fans, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, so Birthright's the one that won. So we'll be doing that later in the month for patrons. So there you go. So yeah, go check out all that stuff out. Also check out all the other stuff we do. We review movies and TV shows. It's very specifically me and Connor do television for the Multiverse, which is the DC TV shows. Every week we review those and talk about them.
If Peter gets his act together, we might have a DC movie to review soon.
That's if I get around to watching Batman Ninja, yeah, we'll be talking about that. Also worth mentioning, there was so much DC TV news this week. We didn't bring it up on this show because obviously we're going long anyway. But there was so much of it that it's worth checking out the TV news this week. Almost cancelled TV news on the YouTube channel. So go check it out, because there was a lot of stuff. Doom Patrol show, Pennyworth, Alfred prequel series, Batwoman's coming to the CW shows, lots of things happening. So that is us, that is the promotion part. Get us on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast. Get Matt on Twitter at MattofSteel57. Get Connor at ConnorRyan94. Get me at Wibble89. And that's everything. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Matt, say something. Have a final word. Say about goodbye or something. I don't know.
Bye, I guess.
God damn it. That's what I have to put up with. Connor, say a final thing. Final message.
Thing.
You two are the worst.
Yep. Yo, I was in this. I gotta go see Deadpool.
I need to eat. I'm starving. So thank you very much once again for watching or listening, guys. We always appreciate it. Keep reading comics, and always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
And stay gold. Always gold.